Welcome back to the PigSkin podcast. This is season 2, episode 9. This is our college football week 4 recap, NFL week 3. Recording this on Monday, September 23rd, during the 2 Monday night games, which we have back-to-back weeks with Monday night doubleheaders. I didn't realize that. Next week there's also two. Yep. Yeah. But without further ado, I think we're going to go ahead and jump into it. I'm going to let you go on your rant first. Obviously, we're going to start it off with the 25-15 defeat the University of Oklahoma took in the hands of the Tennessee Volunteers. Congratulations on Heupel coming back. I thought it was cool, the stuff they did for him pregame. But I'm going to go ahead and let you get into what you saw from this game first.
Just bad vibes, man. I mean, both of my teams, but it's, we'll get into that later on when we go into the NFL. But, yeah, for Oklahoma, I thought it was going to be a more valiant effort. Looked like the atmosphere was pretty cool, though. It seemed loud.
Insane. It was awesome, dude.
It seemed like they were very loud, like we expected. So I don't think we thought that it was going to be like, how it had been in the past. I mean, it was a big-time game with big-time implications.
Yeah.
So, at first they hit a couple of things. They hit Deion Burks on that slant early on. Felt like the offensive line was still getting pushed around. The very first play of the game, I mean, that's probably a bad snap. Branson Hickman coming back, from injury.
It's part of it.
Gadden didn't look great, and I'm being very modest. Thought it looked horrible.
It was awful.
The offense, yeah. Let me ask you before I get into what I'm frustrated about. How frustrating was it for you and the fans when the refs called the offsides on the deep shot to Brennan Thompson for the going into the end zone?
The entire place was so fucking angry. For them to blow that as a dead ball, it was awful. It was awful. Yeah. No one was happy, except for everyone in orange, which there was a lot of people in orange. Tennessee traveled really well.
They do travel well. How about the field? I kept hearing that the field was terrible.
Yeah, it's been terrible all season. We need our old guy back. But, I mean, it looked great, but it chewed up so fast. It was chewed up and toast by middle of the second quarter, which coincidentally was about as long as
on the first season of the SEC.
Yeah, coincidentally, it's about as long as the AU offense lasted. So,
yeah, I mean, there's really no way of going around it, man. It was not a good effort at all. They did some things in the beginning, but it turns out the game plan of just having everybody injured, not knowing your personnel. I mean, literally all of our wide receivers are hurt. Most of our offensive linemen are third stringers and fourth stringers, or guys that transferred in that probably don't deserve to play at the University of Oklahoma just because they're not good enough. And then having your quarterback take acid before the game probably wasn't a good idea. It's kind of what it looked like. But dude, I'm not dismissing Jackson Arnold from fault. Those turnovers were abysmal, man. You just can't do that. I don't know what he was looking at on the interception. I don't know. You know what it reminded me of? It was It was like Sam Darnold saying, I'm seeing ghosts. I saw the corner drop as it's happening. And I thought, okay, he doesn't have anybody open. He just needs to take off and try to find some room to run. And then he threw it with it looked like a Spencer Rattler throw. And
he threw it with complete confidence.
I know.
Did you see the end zone shot of that play?
Yeah.
About 2 seconds before or not even, a half second before he flips his hips and sets the throw to Hester, Deion Burks is wide open between both safeties over the middle of the field.
Dude, he had to have taken something before the game. I can't imagine him.
You think he was in the locker room all right, this is going to get me super fucking amped up. And then he walked out there and just shit the bed.
I don't know. Because I can't imagine him I know his decision making hasn't been the best all season, but I don't know. Something happened because he looked better as a true freshman in the games that he was going out there, making way better decisions.
Yeah.
I think to the OU fans that were wanting Levy to be gone, and were happy when Levy left. It turns out it kind of hurt us like big time.
Yeah.
Because the Seth Luttrell and Joe John Finley combination isn't really working right now. In fact, it's just flat out awful.
Yeah. No, I don't understand how many times as a play caller you can call inside zone or split zone right into the meat of the strongest unit on that team and think it's going to continue to work. When they ran
They
outside
had the outside
zone
run with Barnes, and it worked.
Yeah, and he got
smacked
decleated, but he got the fuck back up and he got his ass back in the game. That was the most successful run play. That, and then they had 2 end arounds that they ran for a total of 20 yards. Yeah, and then they didn't do it again. They ran 2 end around plays, averaged 10 yards per play, and didn't do it again.
Dude, the discourse on Jackson Arnold has been crazy, like all over social media. And
It's not all on him. It's not. The offensive line can't block for the shit. Heath Ozadi kept making ridiculous fucking errors. Running backs can't block.
Let's go into that. In fact, let's go into like some of the devastating plays that ended up happening. Okay. Because it was hard to watch that false start that put us into the position where Tennessee got the safety, man. You saw Ozida, like he jumps.
Yeah.
And then you see him pound his head. And I'm like, oh my God.
And then he stands up and is like this as well. And then to make it even worse, when the play that actually the safety happened, they're in a bare front. They motion Bauer Sharp, who's the worst blocking non-wide receiver on the team. Can't block worth a shit. I don't think he could stop a running nose, dude. And they motion him across to go split zone, slice, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And the guards go opposite directions. They go out. And Brenton Hickman has no idea where the fuck they're going. No one has any idea what they're supposed to do. And then the number 1 player on their defensive line, their best defensive lineman, was untouched right into Javonte Barnes' lap. It looked exactly like when Houston fucked up and Grayson Hall got the safety. It was the same exact fuck up, except we made it.
Yeah.
That's not Jackson Arnold's fault. What is Jackson Arnold's fault is throwing the pick. And then on the RPO play, which Brent said after the game, that pass is not an option on that play. And then you look at Zion Reagan's, the ball's coming his way, and he like loses his mind. He's like, what the fuck? And that's why he's so late to jump towards it. And then it hits the ground. He thought it was a forward pass.
What was
it
it
still
supposed to
looked
be?
Like a forward pass. It was a read all the way. It was a run play all the way. The gap opened up, first of all, but it's not an RPO. That's a decoy screen out there. And what it looked like and the way they're talking about, it's a decoy screen that's either a give to the running back, a throwaway, or a pull for the quarterback. And Jackson did neither of the 3.
You want to know what that tells me?
That's a shitty play call also, but
it's a shitty play call, and it's bad coaching.
Very bad coaching.
Bad coaching, and he doesn't trust his offensive line. Like, you can just tell. Michael Hawkins, which we'll get into him in a second. I mean, even he, like, credit to him for being able to.
So he kept drifting in the pocket.
Yeah. You got credit to him for
also
being able to.
Freshman.
Yeah. But you can tell, I mean, like, he just looks bad. I mean, like, all around. Like, I feel bad for Jackson. I feel bad that everything happened the way that it did. It's like the worst possible thing for Oklahoma fans, that this is the route that it ended up going. The signs were there during the Houston game, even in some of the the Temple game, which is sad, but like the signs were there that this offense was going to struggle, and you would think this shit would get corrected, but no. I mean, it hasn't.
Who on the offensive staff, if things hit the fan, or shit's already hit the fan, but if they say fuck it and get rid of everybody, they just go on a firing rampage. Who on the offensive line stays? DeMarco Murray and Emma Jones? Bedenbaugh, maybe? I think you'd have to hold on to Bedenbaugh because of the guys he's bringing in. If he leaves, they're gone.
Dude, the offensive lines have looked pretty bad the past few years. Like in the second half of the season, like for the past 2 seasons, they've gotten better, but they've started rough. What is he doing?
Part of that, in my mind, part of that is injuries and lack of continuity. Because think of how many guys, especially on the outside, he's sent to the league and is having to replace, and he's just rentals, man. He hasn't been able to get anyone in that's worth his shit. But I mean, he's got Howland in. Jacob Sexton was the best offensive lineman we had this weekend, and he still didn't play great.
Well, you're going up against James Pierce.
That's part of it. That is part of it entirely.
He battled. I thought he did.
He did, but I mean, you're right. It is James Pierce. You're gonna lose more often. You're gonna win with him, no matter who you are in the world at this point. I don't think many people in the NFL are beating him more often than not, outside of like Trent Williams, Lane Johnson.
Oh, I don't know. I think a lot of tackles in the NFL will, because that's just a different level. Like maybe once he gets in and gets his NFL strength, it may be. He
is a little scrawny. He needs to put on some weight, but
he's tall.
Yeah.
How did he look on the field? I'm actually interested because
massive.
He looked like a dog.
He looked like a large Kevin Durant out there.
Shit.
Just tall, long, and wide, bro. He looks like what we want PJ to be.
You were there at the game. How did yeah, I know. I'm sorry that you can't get your money back. How did Dante Thornton look, the wide receiver for Tennessee?
Dude, the wide receivers for Tennessee, you remember the movie Benchwarmers?
Yeah.
They look like grown men out there compared to our guys, especially.
I am 12.
Yeah. When we ran out Reagans, Burks, and Thompson, it went 3 and out, of course. And then I had to turn around and see Thornton and Brew McCoy and those grown men being put on the field. It just didn't compare. Which, outside of the busted play to Thornton, which I say busted play, Billy Bowman bit way too hard. And we'll get into the defense later, but Billy Bowman bit way too hard on play action. It was not in his zone.
Those by design by Heupel. I truly believe that.
No, it exactly was. And
the best thing you can do
is a great play call.
The best thing you can do is when you know there's a player like Billy Bowman on the field, you have plenty of tape on him, and he's a preseason all SEC defensive player at safety. You got to throw the ball not in his direction. And you got to throw things at him that maybe he hadn't seen on film, try to take advantage of him, because he didn't have like a great game, but a lot of it was by design. I mean, there was just nothing there for him.
Yeah, that's half the reason why RSJ had fucking 100 tackles. Yeah, they tried to run everything to him because he's the less experienced guy, and he was fantastic. But back to the offense. I've watched it 1.5 times. Thank God this isn't popular. Sorry to all of my supervisors at work. I watched a lot of the game at work today. Going through watching it back. I mean, the offensive line was better than I initially thought, but there's way too many plays in that game.
I thought it was the actual game going on. It was just a highlight.
No, you're good. Where as soon as Jackson gets the ball, there's guys in his lap. As soon as Mike gets the ball, on that 16-yard sack that he had in the fourth quarter, the ball touched his hands, all 5 guys are beat. What do you expect him to do?
Oh. Yeah, man, we're beat up everywhere. Don't have our big ass wide receivers out there because they're all hurt, unfortunately.
Nick Anderson should not have played.
Yeah, I know. He looked hurt.
He did.
There's also probably, he looked like he wasn't trying, and I don't blame him. He probably went out there and he saw what was happening with the offensive line, and that first throw that went to him on the 4th down. After that, it's probably like, I need to get healthy. Like, this team is going to need me down the road.
You see Brent talking about him and Burks being hurt and how they're soft tissue. Do you think he's calling them soft, or do you think he's just calling it as it is? Because he seems now, I understand he's frustrated they lost.
There's been a ton of injuries. Rough to watch.
It was tough to watch. And shout out George Stoya. He just keeps firing away with injury questions. And just like Brent, obviously, just at this point doesn't fucking like him. He's tired of him. And every time he's like, "What do you expect me to say?" Like, and he's right. Like, there's no way to word that where it's going to be a competent question, but there's also no way to legitimately answer that. You know what I mean? It's just a tough
has he been
situation.
asked several times?
Yeah, George asks him just about every week.
Okay, because that was the first press conference that I had watched from him this season, like post game press conference that I watched from this season.
Yeah.
He looked annoyed, man. It looked really bad. I mean, he looked pissed, but I mean, let's be real. He's the head coach. Like, this is on him too.
Yeah.
100%. Like he's not on my hot seat, but he's going to get there. He's going to get there if this doesn't get fixed. What he's done for the defense and that the hire of Zach Alley was awesome, but I just felt like the hire for Latrell was just lazy. He was doing it in a heartbeat because he needed somebody in there rather than being like, hey, need you guys to take over and then we'll reevaluate in the offseason who our offensive coordinator is going to be. I wasn't necessarily a big fan when the hire happened, but I believed in Brent so much. I was like, well, maybe he knows something I don't. Well, it turns out,
yeah,
he probably also didn't. None of these guys expected all these injuries to pile up the way that they have, so I can't.
Yeah, that's part of it. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I don't want to continue to overshadow. Yeah.
How do you not adjust? How do you not know? Like, hey, we need to like switch things up. Like these guys, like these freshmen aren't up to play strength or speed, and they're kind of small. I'm kind of done with the JJ Hester experiment. It's like watching a fishing boat, or it's like a fishing boat in the Sahara Desert. It's just out of place.
Yeah, every fucking time he goes out there for 2 plays and either gets hurt or he does something stupid and Emmett Jones pulls his ass. I'm done.
Yeah, I've seen enough of JJ Hester. Unfortunately, it didn't work out the way I'm sure he wishes it could have, and what we thought he could be with his size. I mean, it's
How
kind of a
different do you
waste.
think it is if at least Jahlil Farouk's healthy?
I think it's a lot different. I think that's a huge loss, dude. He does some
The
things.
experience, the fight, everything.
Yeah, 6'2", like 200 and something pounds. Plays fast, plays strong. I mean, that's a rough.
Blocks his ass off.
Yeah, blocks his ass off. I was hoping Drake Stoops being gone wasn't going to be like a big. I feel like losing Drake Stoops is also just a massive blow because he was always available and he's just a good receiver for at Oklahoma. Not that Deion Burks isn't. Deion Burks absolutely is. It's just he's the only one out there now.
Yeah,
experience.
Yeah, if you walk this back to last year and Drake Stoops is our only guy out there, we're in the same situation.
Yeah, so different. So I don't know. Yeah, Nick Anderson didn't look good. I mean, I get it though. He's been hurt, but I'm still like very disappointed in him for never. I mean, this is what 2 years in a row because I guess 2022 was when he was a true freshman, so it's a little different.
I mean, when he's been available, he's been fantastic, but the best ability is availability. Brent always says it. That's right.
I mean, the Anderson kids can't stay healthy.
They can't, dude.
For some reason. Schmitty hate these guys or something and just overworks them?
I don't fucking know, man. I don't know.
Is
I just saw someone. No.
It can't be. Yeah,
it can't be. The defense has been perfectly fine.
Because I don't remember these many guys being hurt that are starting ever.
If it was a Schmitty issue, you'd see this across the entirety of the team. It's at 2 position groups: offensive line and receiver.
It's just unlucky.
It's unlucky. Also, maybe Brent is calling them soft because when they are out there and they are somewhat healthy, they play like dog shit. Soft as hell. No one blocks their fucking ass off on either fucking group. But then again,
even Deion, I never see Deion Burks because they never cut to him. He's usually running routes and
he's usually if the receiver's blocking, it's for him. We also can't run screens. So
yeah. Oh yeah, I know. It's terrible. I think he's fed up too. I mean, I don't know. It
would be.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways.
What do you think about Mike Hawkins?
I appreciate the guy.
He played his fucking ass off, man.
He did. That that John Elway looking play where he flips over the end zone was credit to him, man.
Yeah.
And I agree with Kirk Herbstreit on the broadcast. He said that's your quarterback going forward. Like, he's still fighting his ass off to try to get something going for this team.
Mm-hmm. Did you see his post-game interview?
No, I didn't get to watch it. I saw Stutzman's. I saw Barnes. Those are the only two that I watched.
Yeah. He literally the whole time he was just talking about how hard he was trying to fight, and he was trying to lay everything on the line. He said when they kept asking him, what's going through your head, he's like, don't ruin this opportunity. He was make the most of it. So
I was really hoping this wasn't going to be a Spencer Rattler, Caleb Williams situation. It seems like they, as far as I know, I don't really know if they like each other or not, like him and Jackson. I'm sure they do.
Yeah, I would think so.
But, I don't know. I guess we'll see later on. But what do you think the best decision for Jackson Arnold is? Do you think maybe he just needs to sit out and regroup and be like, hey, let's get this thing going mentally for you, and then we'll reevaluate in the offseason. We'll bring in a new, coordinator. Look what Andy Kotelnicki's done for Drew Aller, dude. It is a night and day different. He was not good last year. Now he looks amazing.
Here's the thing, though. I think you lose one of the two at the end of the season either way. If Mike balls out, you can't switch back to Jackson. If Mike sucks shit and you switch back to Jackson, Mike's going to leave. Kevin Sperry's coming in. And so it's one of those things where
it's just going to be so frustrating.
Mm-hmm. And look,
it's going to be incredibly frustrating if he ends up transferring, and let's say after Will Howard, hey, Ohio State's giving him a call and he balls out at Ohio State with Jeremiah Smith and those receivers. He ends up looking really good under Ryan Day, and Mike Hawkins is still running for his life because we can't figure it out on the offensive line because we refuse to put in freshmen.
I don't know, man.
See what you got with EPL. See what you got with EPL. See what you got with some of these guys that are healthy. Josh Osaisa or Eugene Brooks.
Josh Osaisa is not. No, we don't need a true freshman at center. Not that he's not good. I would have full faith in him. But
is he a center? He can't play guard. He's too small.
He might be able to, but I think his best position, all he really played in high school was center.
Okay, put EPL out there. Put Eugene Brooks. Some of these other guys. I know people were worried about Eugene Brooks being too big, but fuck it, put him at guard.
At least if he's too big, he can stay in the fucking way a little bit longer. My biggest thing is if they're going to run out the freshmen, you can't turn back. You can't. You have to live with the mistakes that they make. And I would be perfectly fine with that. Wow. I think Jaden Daniels is coming alive, dude.
Oh, yeah, he's feeling it.
Yeah. Man, that was a beautiful ball. But
it's a scary Terry too.
It was, dude. Damn, he just turned Cam Taylor-Britt.
That was a good throw. Jeez.
Beautiful route too.
Yeah, good route, good throw. Jaden Daniels, man. Woo.
I like him. I like him a lot.
I like Jaden Daniels a lot too. I hope he has a lot of success in Washington.
So, but yeah, no, that's the thing is you can't turn back, and I wouldn't want them to. But I just don't know how much better it gets. Sure, they might come out there and play their ass off. If they're going to come out there and fight and fucking fight, I'd be fine with it because at the end of the day, I'd rather have dudes coming out there and swinging and missing than guys just playing and not really fighting. So if they're going to make that move, I think you go Sexton at left, Sexton at tackle, Ozada at guard. Hickman looked good to start, and then it just kind of got worse. That ankle's clearly not good. It just progressively got worse. And I think you go EPL at right guard, and then I wish Jake Taylor was healthy. But I don't know, man. I think Mike Hawkins, though, Jaquez Petaway looked best with Hawkins out there. But I think he threw with good anticipation. He threw with good timing. That's the one thing that has really bothered me about Jackson. Outside of the turnovers, the decision-making in the RPO game, outside of that, he's just...
Wasn't that his strength coming out of high school?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. He's just so late in the pass game. He sees it, and then you can tell because his confidence is so burned. He sees it, and then he's going to release it, and he thinks for just a second, and then he lets it go. He doesn't let it go with the same force that he had. He doesn't put the same spin on the ball, and he just lets it go late, and it's a lazy fucking throw. That's the problem.
I know, and it feels like it was all after the Arizona game. Yeah. I feel like after the Arizona game, it was just like it just completely ruined his confidence. And then it seemed like he was getting his confidence back, and then everybody gets hurt.
Yeah.
And he's too scared to throw to these freshman wide receivers that are small because if they get hit and they get injured, then it's like he has nobody.
They can't run. It's like you said, throw it to Zion Reagan's open fucking. Yeah, they can't. They can't. Gavin Sawchuk, might as well just put him up. He's done for the season at this point. They can't block, so he can't get in space and do what he does best. Javonte Barnes, I think, needs to be out there for 95% of the snaps. He's the best in pass protection. He runs the ball the hardest. He's the only one that's done anything positive. He may have been our best player on offense last week or 2 days ago, and he looked like he only had 4 carries if you just look at his yardage totals. We averaged before Mike Hawkins kind of picked things up in the fourth quarter. We were averaging 0.7 yards per carry. Like, it's just funny. And then we scored the touchdown on the pass to Barnes, right? And then Jake Sexton gets the hands to the face, which technically, yes, it's a soft-ass call. You just got to know the play's going away from you. It's not going to take that long. You got your guy held up long enough. Just let him go. Beautiful decision on the throw from Hawkins. He knew just to get it just touched up over. I think it was Pierce that was blitzing him. He just touched it right up over him to Petaway. I think it was Petaway. Beautiful play. Beautiful play. Executed perfectly.
Dude, speaking of Petaway.
3 catches, 79 yards.
He came in alive in the second quarter or in the second half.
Where's he been? Oh, yeah. Soft tissue injury he's been dealing with last few weeks. But also, I don't understand why him and Burks, if we're going to keep 17 5'8" fucking receivers, why can't him and Burks be on the field at the same time?
Yeah, no, put Burks on the outside at this point.
If they're your 2 most dynamic guys, put them both up there. And then motion Burks across the field and line them up next to each other. Who's going to stop that? Who's going to be able to stop that?
All right, so offensive line, you were there. How'd you feel?
They got their ass blown off the ball 75% of the time. No force in the run game. Pass protection held up at times, but when it didn't. It was bad.
How did technique look?
They don't drive their feet at all. They have nothing. It looks like they're trying to use upper body strength the entire time. They don't use their legs at all. We did like 0 chop. We didn't chop anybody. I don't know why we didn't chop. We didn't try to clip. Well, not clip. That's a penalty, but no cut blocks. Nothing. No chips. Nothing. But
I like Bill Beaton, though. Somebody needs to light a fire under his ass. Because that's not good coaching. And it just seems lazy. It just seems lazy. And that's not a guy that I would expect to be lazy in his coaching. I mean, look what he's done for these guys he's put in the NFL. He's had guys win the Joe Moore Award.
Yeah. He's turned tight ends and JUCO quarterbacks into professional top-tier offensive linemen. He's taking guys that were too big, too unathletic, and then they're the top of the top in the NFL. He's done it consistently over and over and over and over again. That's why I don't put the blame all on him, but there's nowhere else to put it. If they're not playing with good technique, and I watched Eichert and Lehman, Eichert even said the same things I'm saying. They didn't drive with their feet. They didn't use their lower body strength to their advantage, if they fucking have any. I don't. Branson Hickman, I understand. He's just doing what he can. He's got the sprained ankle on his dominant side. He also snapped the ball like shit. So there's that. But he even said, he goes, that's not how Bill taught us to play at all. He goes, I don't know what the hell they're doing. I don't know if they're being coached that, but it looks like it if everyone's doing it. I don't know if it's an RPO.
Everyone was doing it.
Everyone was doing it. I don't know if it's the RPO game, but at the same time, you look at the game and you watch Tennessee's offensive line. I counted numerous times where they're blocking someone 5, 6, 7 yards downfield on a pass and it doesn't get called. You know, if you're worried about that getting called, make them call it. Do it. The whole fucking blindside thing where he just ran him off the fucking field over the fence. Do it every fucking play until they throw a penalty. There's no fire, though. That's the biggest problem, is none of those guys play with purpose, it seems like. None of them. None of them fight. The only two people I saw fight for that entire fucking offense on Saturday, 3, Jake Roberts, Mike Hawkins, Javonte Barnes. The only 3 guys that I saw fight their ass off on Saturday. Taylor Tatum, I don't know if it's a head injury. I don't know if it's back injury. I don't know if it's a rib injury. But he clearly got hurt. They didn't take him out the game. They ran him again. He got fucking smacked, and you never saw him again. I lean head injury because he didn't even come back onto the field.
Dude,
another
he got
person
smacked hard because he was falling down. And the Tennessee player came up and smacked him. So, like, I think it's probably a head injury or a neck injury because it looked like his head, like.
It looked like the Devontae Smith thing yesterday. As he's falling, he just gets drilled. Another thing, and we kind of went over receivers a minute ago, but Andrew Anthony's dressed for all 4 games so far this season. He's played as many snaps as many games he's dressed for? 4 or 5, maybe? If he's listed as playing on the injury report and he's dressed, fucking play him.
I know. Like, what the hell's going on? Like, I don't understand, like, the decision to, like, put guys in and then immediately bring them out. Like, yeah, they're going to be – he hasn't really played all season. Like, let him go out there. Let him get his feet wet. He's going to be a little rusty. But, like, he needs to be out there so he can get things going again, so he can get in stride.
Get in stride, get things going, get comfortable. And also trust that knee is not going to fucking buckle on him if he goes to cut. It's the biggest thing with an ACL injury. It's all mental. You have to trust not only yourself and your ability, but the fact that your knee is not going to fucking buckle underneath you and give out when you're trying to make some dude miss or trying to get advantage on somebody or just trying to get up to speed. I don't get it, dude. Bauer Sharp, also, I said it multiple times. He can't block worth a shit.
He's giving it his best shot.
Is he?
I don't know. I don't. I think he's also afraid of getting injured because they just don't have very many guys left. That's what it looks like to me. Because he was blocking his ass off or like giving it his like the best that he could during from what I heard in all of like training camp. And then in Temple, like he was trying his ass off to block. It just doesn't look like he's been trying to block lately. And I don't know if that's like these guys need to be available. But at this point, it's like nobody's going to be available. Like it's been an unlucky season.
And you have those from time to time.
Could have been a 10-2. Could have been a 10-2 team, but it's probably going to be a 7-5 because of the injury plague. That's just happened. It's brutal and it's unlucky. And like I feel bad for Venables because like this is a prove it year. Like, hey, we're going into the SEC, and then bam, everybody gets hurt, and it's like I can understand if he's frustrated.
So there's been some talk about this, and I've been thinking this for the last few weeks. You remember in fall camp and in spring ball and everything like that, where we hear from like the Center Scoop and like the beat writers and stuff like that. They'd get leaks from sources inside the facility. Hey, the offense won this day. Did they just go against air? When did you have looking at these last 4 games?
Oh, blind dog finds a bone every once in a while, right?
Yeah, clocks twice.
Broken clock.
Yeah.
It's right twice a day.
Yeah, exactly. I fucked that up immensely. But yeah. Broken clocks right twice a day. Like I just, dude, it's bad. It's bad.
Do you remember Caleb Hicks?
I do remember Caleb Hicks. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. Because he seems like he'd be running just as fucking physical as Javonte is. He seems like the same type of back. I don't know if they can't trust him in pass protection.
In the spring game where like there was no hole open and he just cut it like it was like the Jahmyr Gibbs against the Raiders last year where he just made something out of nothing.
Yeah, it happened at the yard line that I was sitting at.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. It was amazing play.
Has he just been bad since?
I don't know. Here's
Is it
my
the run
thought.
protection? Like, is
If
DeMarco
it's
Murray just like, hey, let's just put Gavin Sawchuk out there, who's clearly like not going to be able to get it done with this offensive line?
I don't know. Because my thought process, because I thought about it, I was like, maybe he's just bad in pass protection. But then I was like, oh, so's fucking Taylor Tatum, Gavin Sawchuk, and Sam Franklin. Javonte Barnes is the only one that's good in pass protection, and that's because he fucking smacks dudes. You know who else is gonna fucking smack people? Caleb Hicks. He's just gonna leave after the
Hey, you know
season's
who
over and
else
go
was really
ball
good
out
in
somewhere.
pass protection that we didn't give a scholarship to? Tommy
Who's that?
Walker.
Yeah, yeah, man, fucking insane, isn't it? I don't get
You
it.
think Caden Green knew something that we didn't? Like, I hate to bring that up. Like, it's a touchy subject right now, but
You put him on this offensive line. What's better? One position. It's not gonna fix everything. I don't know. Maybe he did. I don't think it's that much better at Missouri. I think Missouri's just played cupcakes so far. I think Vanderbilt exposed a lot of them, and I don't think they're going to win more than 7 games this year.
yeah, I know. Completely different than what happened last year.
Yeah, I also don't know that we score more than fucking 2 points against Auburn next weekend. So, but 2 points might be all we need against Auburn because they look like dog shit. You know who's not dog shit? This amazing Oklahoma defense, dude. Oh my god,
It looked amazing.
it it was so inspiring to see our offense, and we didn't even talk about the fact that the 2 turnovers they forced, they turned it over the very next play. On honestly, that fake pitch that Jackson fumbled it on, it was a fake halfback pitch. If he just lets it go, Javonte scores, dude.
Yeah.
Or at least gets to the goal line. But no, he wants to throw a backwards pass. Whatever. I'm done with it. I'm done with it. I'm done with it. Yeah, no, defense looked great. I mean, first drive they came out, and I think a lot of people are saying, "Oh, Tennessee just took their foot off the gas," like in the second half and early. I don't think so. I think Josh Heupel legitimately realized they couldn't run their normal offense.
Nope.
When teams were playing, when it was early in the game and everything was still up for grabs, and they were running their normal offense, their regular playbook, they were getting their ass shut down. They were getting whooped up front. Of course, they had 2 backup tackles, but they were getting whooped interior too. Against a 3-man front, they were getting their ass handed to them inside.
That backup left tackle for Tennessee is not good.
No, he'd probably still start for Oklahoma.
Yeah. Well, and I'll credit Tennessee's defense. They did what they were supposed to do against this bad offense. We still don't know about the secondary for Tennessee. We'll see if they end up getting tested. I think they have to play Alabama this year.
I think they play Alabama and Georgia on back-to-back weekends.
Yeah, so you got to cover Ryan Williams, which it's going to be tougher for Ryan Williams because he's just been getting open, like he's been getting busted coverage, open touchdowns. If we think that Tennessee's,
they do. Okay.
If they play Georgia, they're probably going to beat Georgia because that offense doesn't look good for Georgia. But then again, Georgia always has those stinkers. But their offense hasn't looked good, like at least to the standard that we think that Georgia was going to be. But that defense is going to be tough for Tennessee.
I don't think Tennessee's offense is all what everyone thought it was.
I
think so. They're good.
I don't think so either, but I think it will be if Nico will continue. Like, I think that has to be a game for Nico where it's like, what are you going to take from this? Like, is this going to scare you now going forward? Because 2 strips, first of all, the Trace Ford one was awesome. That was sick.
The RSJ one was amazing as well.
Yeah. But I mean, you're right. Like, the defense played awesome, and they gave Nico looks that like it was confusing, like the 3-man fronts. I didn't understand it at first. I was like, it just gave me like the horror nightmares of like Mike Stoops whenever he would do that in 2017 and 2018. The 3-man front. I was like, oh no, here we go. But it worked. Jaden Jackson.
Well, we didn't have the dudes to run that though.
Yeah.
We do now.
Jaden Jackson is incredible, dude.
He moves laterally so well.
Just vertically too. I mean, he's pushing guys, and like that's a good Tennessee offensive line, except for the left tackle, which Lance Hurd was out.
Dude, there was one play where he got it was a tackle for no gain on the run play. That as soon as the ball was snapped, he punched the guard, swapped and laterally moved over 2 gaps and stuffed the running back.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. And you know what? Shout out to David Stone too. I thought he played way better than I thought he was going to on
He
the
played
snaps he was
really
out
well
there.
at the end of the game. Yeah,
like he's developed very nicely, and like he needs to continue to get more snaps and more reps, especially if he's going to be like him and Jaden Jackson are going to be the future of this interior. Like you definitely need to get that guy better in the game. I wanted to see him in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't think he was going to look that good. I mean, he wasn't perfect, but he
played well.
He was stopping the run.
Yeah.
I was happy for him when he got hyped on that. I think it was into the run stuff.
Yeah.
I think he was in the middle of it too. I was also really drunk on Saturday because I was really sad about.
Couldn't have been more drunk than the dude behind me wearing the Drake Stoops Rams jersey. I gave him props to the Rams jersey, and I was like, "Hey, bro, that's clean." He was like, "Thank you," and I was like, "God damn, it's kickoff, dude! Hell yeah!" I thought we are SEC ready, dog.
Yep, yes sir. Got to get SEC ready.
We were surrounded by Tennessee fans, which I will say this: Tennessee fans, they're pretty cool. There were some good dudes there. They traveled really well.
It's just like it's the fake Twitter accounts that you see. Like every
no,
SEC
it really
fan base
is.
does it. Every SEC fan base does
and
it. Like I think it's kind of funny. Like
it's hilarious. I had some good interactions with some Tennessee fans. The thing where the Tennessee fans came together and donated over $5,000 worth of stuff to OU Children's Hospital was pretty cool. They traveled. It was excellent. In pregame warmups, they did a huge shout out to Josh Heupel while Tennessee was on the field stretching and stuff. So that was cool. In the intro video, they were doing the normal intro video, and then right as it cut to everything, they showed Josh Heupel taking the knee, and so bro, it's pretty cool. And I don't know if you saw his locker room video afterwards, but he's pretty emotional about it. So, which look, if anyone's gonna come back and beat us, especially if they're wearing orange, it's cool that it was Heupel.
Well, I'm glad it was a good Tennessee team and not a terrible Auburn team.
That is true.
We kind of had our doubts just because of what was going on this season that week. It's a very winnable game with the way our defense is playing. But
23 points to one of the best offenses in the country.
Yeah. But yeah, Nico, he just wasn't. He had some good throws in that game, man. He hit some, like the one to Thornton was a good
touchdown.
It was a smart read, and it was a good throw. But the one to Brew McCoy, that was
the sideline. Yeah,
that was a hell of a throw. It was just kind of just throw it up there and let your good wide receiver catch it. Which shout out to Brew McCoy, his resurgence was. It's pretty remarkable. Like that guy was not very good his first few years in college, and now he's been really, really good.
Can we talk about the fact that on some of those plays they did try, even lined up against Brew McCoy, 5'9" Eli Bowman.
He was really good.
Looked fantastic in man-to-man coverage.
Really good.
He's gonna be a dude, bro.
Yeah, he looked really good.
If he was 6'3", he'd be completely unstoppable. If he was 6'1", he'd be untouchable.
Lewis Carter, I like that guy, dude. He's good.
He's just smacking dudes, bro.
I don't really know what to make of that. You know the play where they did like the toss back and then Lewis Carter blew it up. I saw the blocker slip.
Yeah,
but there were 2 guys there. Like I think it was him and somebody else that were there. So like it would have been blown up either way. But like, thankfully the Tennessee player slipped and Lewis Carter he's fast, dude.
He explodes. He's a missile, man.
He's small, like height wise, but like he's pretty like stocky. Can he play running back?
Yeah. I think
he benches 500 pounds.
Yeah, I know. Add him to the freaks list with fucking Deion Burks. I think when was it? I think it was midway through the third quarter. My cousin looked at me and was like, "Can we just sub the defense in on offense? Like at some point, like they got to start fighting people." Like.
Dude, the two turnovers that we forced Tennessee, like the 2 like strip sacks,
were gifts.
And not being able to do anything. I mean, that's what's so painful to go back and watch. It's like how do we go from what we did in 2017 and 2018 to this? Like, what have we done to piss the football gods off? Like, what?
Take this year's offense versus 2018's defense. Who are you putting money on to win that game?
I mean, you're just making a donation to.
Yeah. I think I'm not even gonna put money on it. I'm just gonna blow my fucking brains out if I had to watch that.
Who knows, man? Maybe the defense because the offensive line is so bad. Maybe. Because I don't think the players were bad on defense. It's just the scheme and then their coaching was bad.
Speed D, man.
Yeah. But yeah, no, the defense was awesome. Woody Washington kind of struggled. I think he's getting used to like Cheetah and like safety, like him playing those different positions. Like that's a tough position to put him in. Like the experiment's over. Like he needs to like he is best when he's playing corner.
I want to say when they threw him out there at corner, he looked just fantastic. He looked like classic Woody.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what he plays. He like I'm sorry, but put him out there. He's not getting beat as much as Kenai Walker. And Kenai Walker's good, but there are a couple times where he got beat. And it's like, dude, I mean, I get it. They're wanting you to play press coverage, but I mean, I don't know. But anyway, Stutzman, I thought he still was really good. He had the missed tackle on the goal line. That's just like good play by Dylan Sampson to kind of redirect himself. Did we see Colby McKenzie? I didn't see him out there on the field.
Okay. He came out there and he played. That was the one thing I wanted to get into. They did, and I'm really surprised they did in this game. Well, I was during the game, but then I started thinking about how often they were throwing those dudes back out there. But he was the Mike backer when Stutzman came out, and he held his own. I think they got the calls in on time. I think he looked good, man.
Yeah, no, he's progressing really.
He is.
Like he's doing a great job.
Brains coming together.
Yeah, the entire defense they're excellent, dude. They're probably one of the best, if not the best defense in the country with what they have to deal with on the offensive side of the ball. And it's going to get to a point where they're going to be fed up. Like I know like they're a tight locker room, but like that stuff, even the tightest of locker rooms, that stuff is going to get to you as a defense. It's like kind of like the offense. You know, for under Lincoln Riley, where it's like, dude, at some point, like you guys got to do something.
Someone's gonna make a comment at some point.
Beat the Downs.
Yeah, which I think he played his best game of the season so far. And I don't think it comes from someone like Ethan Downs. I don't think it comes from someone like Danny Sensman. I think it comes from like, and I don't want to call anybody out. This is not me singling any certain person out or anything like that. But I think, he's something to practice, and I think in the locker room, like Des Malone or someone like that just says something and it just pops and you can't get the locker room back. I don't know. I mean, I'm also fucking tired of hearing Seth Luttrell say it's fixable. Fix it. Fix it. If it's fixable, fucking fix it. And if Mike Hawkins is the fix, cool. Good job. Should have done that 3 weeks ago. Fix it. Luke Hill's gonna look good. Tyler Kell don't look like shit. Peyton Bowen returned the ball well.
Yeah, no, the entire defense, everybody. I thought Dominic Williams had his best game. I thought everybody on the defense, almost everybody on the defense had their best game. Obviously, Billy Bowman, I mean, kind of a non-factor, but that was kind of by design, and you can just tell it was by design. They did a good job of forcing Nico to be a true freshman on the road. And so we'll see what that ends up looking like. He's either going to progress from there, and it's going to be tougher on defenses. Because I don't know how many defenses in the SEC right now are given different looks like that, except for like Georgia, Bama at times, but Bama, like they always have dudes. So, yeah. But yeah, no, the offense, I guess you just you can't go back to Jackson Arnold. Like, I mean, it's Hawkins' team now until you basically have to force him to give up the spot.
I think at this point, even to really, if you really want Jackson to learn from this, and you really want to try to get something out of him mentally, I think you put him at third team. And you let Casey work with Mike, and you let him and Casey Thompson really work together to try to figure this shit out. And they work hand in hand with Seth Luttrell if you think Seth can fix it. And you do what you can to get Mike as comfortable as possible and get him going.
Yeah. Not to like harp too much on Jackson Arnold because, kid's dealing with
it's not all his fault.
Yeah. The kid's dealing with a lot. Like you can tell mentally he's just like he's not in a good place right now with his play and then just like how everything ended up turning out. But like it's like the worst thing it's the worst guy that this is gonna happen to. 'Cause he just seems like a really good kid. Like he seems like an extremely good kid, and now everybody in the country has seen that. How are you gonna respond? Like, do you have the mentals to be like, all right, I've got nothing to lose now. Like when your opportunity comes again.
Yeah. One more thing I want to bring up on offense. I don't know if I mentioned it earlier when we started this, but Jacoby Johnson officially is making the move to wide receiver. 6'2", 2 something.
6'3".
6'3". He's a bigger body out there, but he's not only a bigger body. I mean, at Mustang, he was really a 4-star guy both ways on both sides of the ball. I think he had like 12 touchdowns his senior season.
Travis Hunter, let's do it.
Let's fucking do it, man. Because he's cold as fucking corner too. He plays well at corner too. So super excited for that. I do have one final analogy on this game. It felt like watching like one team pitch good enough to win a 2-0 game, and the other team pitched good enough or pitched a perfect game. And OU pitched a 1-0 shutout. But goddamn it, Tennessee pitched a fucking perfect game on defense, man. That's really what it was. It felt like watching a pitcher give up one and a pitcher give up none. Where the offense is just
also
they held Nico to under 200 yards.
One team looks better coached, and Josh Heupel masterclass coaching to be like, this defense is killing us. Let's just run the ball.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna score points. I think he wanted to run the score and be like, hey, this is what this team is capable of doing. It's just Brent Venables and Zach Alley weren't going to have none of it.
It is also the worst decision he could have made was to keep going out there and trying to let Nico just sling it, because at some point the defense is going to get to him again. Yeah. Those tackles could not hold up. They were going to force another turnover. The worst thing that Tennessee could have done was lose that game off by like turning the ball over 5 times.
The Bears versus the Titans, week 1.
Get into the thoughts of the game, man.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I have several thoughts. I don't want to make this an extremely long episode.
I could go for hours.
Yeah, offensive line looked absolutely terrible. Ozaida's a problem. He was a problem in this game. Wee Woo sucked. I mean, he was okay in some spots, but he, for most of the part, not what we expected from him.
In the run game, he was atrocious.
Tarquin's our best offensive lineman. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Who would have thought? He sucked at USC, and he's actually made a big turnaround, so good for him. But this is just as much on Brent Venables as it is like the entire coaching staff on offense. Mm-hmm. If he means it, like if he's truly fed up with it, like, and I get it, injuries completely derailed what you thought this offense was going to be. I didn't really have high hopes with even the offensive line that we were going to put out there, but like this is kind of like at a point where it's like, okay, what kind of culture, like what kind of program is this going to be when things don't go your way?
Yep.
It seems like you got everything going for you with recruiting and developing on certain parts of the ball. You know what this offense can look like. You saw it last year. That was a top 5 offense. I know they had Jeff Levy, but a big portion of that was Brent Venables being a head coach, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just that's football. Like you're a head coach now. You oversee everything. So like what is the plan now for, you know, when everything is going bad, especially like on the offense? Like how can you respond? Like how do you get this thing on the right track? And if it's a quarterback switch, a guy that's mobile, that's just making making quicker decisions, that is just a little bit more confident right now, I hope so. I just don't know how much of a quarterback change is going to help with how everything is going right now from not only a scheme, but a coaching perspective as well. Because you could tell the coaching is terrible.
Yeah.
And the tight ends they don't look as good as we thought they were going to be. I think that's Joe John Finley needs to get it together with these tight ends. Beatonbow, he's on my hot seat right now. I know he's done really well in recruiting, but if that offensive line doesn't look good next year, you got to make a switch.
Well, here's the thing: going into next year, like
You got Pasusi. You can start him as a true freshman. I don't care if he's underweight. He'll get up there. He needs the reps.
Can we start 4 true freshmen on the offensive line next year, though? If not, we're gonna have to go right back into the portal.
Troy Everett, medical year. Let him play center.
Who else? I guess Ozida. Year 3 of Ozida, maybe. Howland, maybe. Jacob Sexton, maybe. Yes.
I don't
Taylor.
know. But
We'll have to see.
You got to get it rolling. You got to get things going well. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a coaching thing or these players just have low IQ on the offense, but it's got to be fixed or you got to make big changes. That's what you're paid to do. You're the head coach of the University of Oklahoma. No, I don't think Joe Castiglione's going to fire him. I don't.
No.
He's just too loyal. He's like Jerry Jones. Just a better Jerry Jones. He just keeps his guys around.
Better Jerry Jones. It would take a lot in my mind. It's gonna take years or like if we lose out, like if we finish the season 3-8, including or 3-9, including a loss to like Maine, and it just goes completely off the rails, maybe. But it's gonna take a lot for BV to be let go.
I have a question for you.
This
will be the last thing I'll ask you on this before we move on. Have you ever seen Sons of Anarchy?
Bits and pieces.
Yeah. Well, basically, the entire premise of the story is one major decision basically created a domino effect of like bad things to come for the club. Kind of feels that way whenever Bob Stoops decided to hire his brother as co-defensive coordinator.
And instead of firing him, firing Josh Heupel.
And bring in Lincoln Riley.
Yeah.
And then Brent has a mess to fix going into one of the toughest conferences.
I saw, who was it? I think it was George Stoya.
Is that an administration? Is that an administration problem? Because I don't really feel like OU has an administration problem, but
I don't think so.
I just asking questions. I don't know. I like calling a story. We're in the business for the storylines.
I did see George Stoya
was hiring Mike Stoops like Sons of Anarchy.
I do think it was we got a thick 6 in the Jane Daniels' first ever career passing touchdown is to his offensive lineman. That's
awesome.
That's amazing. That you say we're in it for the stories. There you go. Right there.
He's a good quarterback.
I did see George Stoya propose an interesting and slightly hilarious thought expert, which was imagine we fire Seth Luttrell and then he comes back in 10 years at like Florida and just beats us out in the season opener. God, I'd kill myself.
Oh yeah,
I still might.
I was gonna say Jeff Levy, but he didn't. He just took the head coaching job. He didn't get
fired. Yeah, he wasn't fired.
It was a lazy hire. I mean, it was by Brent Venables, and sometimes you're gonna swing and miss. Like it just happens. But unfortunately, our fan base is not forgiving.
Maybe we should have went and got Andy Kotelnicki.
Would have been nice.
Imagine where we'd be now. If we went and got Andy Kotelnicki with that defense, we might be unstoppable. Utah Oklahoma State was essentially the exact same game, except Oklahoma State did a little bit more in the fourth quarter than we did.
They still can't get Ollie Gordon going, man. And they didn't have Cam Rising.
It's worrisome, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know. That was Zach Wilson's brother that went and won that game for Utah, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, that's your best offensive player, right? I mean, he was.
Yeah. It's definitely not Garrett Rangel.
Yeah. Or Mike Gundy, can he adjust? I mean, because they don't look good other than like a few times throughout the season where the offense looked kind of competent.
Yeah, it was bad, dude.
Yeah.
And also, it looked like half the time Garrett Rangel would take that ball, drop back, and then just say fuck it and just throw the ball. Yeah. No intention of going anywhere legitimate with it.
Zach Wilson's brother. The interception, I was watching some of the game. Oklahoma State's defense probably had one of the coolest interceptions I've ever seen. It was going to be an on-the-dot money throw by Utah, and literally the safety came down and it hit the wide receiver's hands, and he just basically took it.
Yeah, it was insane. It was sick.
Yeah, Utah didn't really have to do much. I mean, it was just kind of like, let's just score what we can and get the hell out of here.
It's the exact same thing as Tennessee. I think it was the exact same game. It's at the point there's only one undefeated football team at the collegiate level in the state of Oklahoma, and it's the NAIA University of Central Oklahoma Broncos, dude.
Go Broncos!
Broncos, man.
Yeah. Could that defense destroy Oklahoma's offense?
I think
Carl Albert's good.
I think Carl Albert would stuff us, dude.
Yeah.
I think SkyTech would beat us into a pulp.
Yeah. Real quick, let's Michigan USC recap. Another blunder coaching by Lincoln Riley, of course. I mean,
I'm just happy that if we were going to lose, Oklahoma State, Lincoln Riley lost as well.
Yeah. Michigan couldn't really complete a forward pass. Well, Alex Orji had one throw, and I thought, oh no, they just have to run this ball.
Didn't he throw for like 32 yards?
He had a throw. And I guess in my mind, I kind of thought, like, what would I do in that situation when your receiver is like just covered and not open, and like you want to just threw it, like the wide receiver was running down the sideline and he didn't even want to attempt a back shoulder throw. So he's like, let me just throw it in front where neither the DB or the wide receiver can get it. But hey, maybe the guy can have a chance. It was just one of those like funny throws where it was like, yeah, they're just going to have to run the ball. And they did. And Michigan played their style of football, just running the ball. And
46 carries for 290, man.
Miller Moss had nothing going for him this game. I mean, he's a good quarterback, but just an absolute coaching blunder by USC. The play where Mullings basically spun the defender off and then broke another tackle to run it into the end zone was just a very gross reminder that Lincoln Riley's just cursed to not have a tackling defense, which I think they'll get it together with their new defensive coordinator. But like, I don't know. I mean, yeah, we had questions about USC and how good was that LSU team, and it turns out like just took LSU a little bit while to get going, I guess. Yeah. They caught him at the right time.
Yeah. Do you think is Donovan Edwards cooked, dude?
Yeah. I mean, I thought he was only good because of the offensive line he had last year.
Yeah.
He's on the face of the game. For himself. He's the face of the game, right? He's on the cover.
Yeah.
I guess you had to put him out there.
You had to.
Not Will Johnson,
someone from Michigan.
Not Will Johnson. Not Mason Graham. Not Grant.
I would have said Mason Grant. I'm a big boy guy, so I would have appreciated maybe an offensive lineman on the cover or something. You know, maybe a D tackle. Maybe show Dominic Williams on there, man. That'd be cool. Oh,
no, you had to put a Michigan player on there.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, you had to put a Michigan player on there.
Should have just had.
But yeah, USC's not Big Ten ready, at least not yet. So
our offense might be Big Ten West ready.
Yeah. Who wins, Iowa or Oklahoma?
People not watching the game.
Yeah, it's a cover your eyes gross game of the week. Auburn versus Oklahoma is probably going to be that.
I don't know, man. We'll see what Mike Hawkins can do. Last thing on college football I want to get into before we head out. Did you see the Buffalo kicker?
Huh?
Did you see the kicker from Buffalo after he made the field goal?
No, I didn't.
He hits the field goal and he's on the ground and Northern Illinois guys are walking by and he's like,
"Oh yeah. Okay, I did see that.
Yeah. So funny. So funny.
Hey, did you see that Diego Pavia throw in the Missouri game?
I did.
That kind of looked like Patrick Mahomes and Caleb Williams, like stepping. It looked like Kyler Murray.
You mean it looked like Dylan Raiola?
Oh yeah. Dylan, dude, Patrick Mahomes had a rough game against Illinois, didn't he?
He did, dude. He
Yeah.
did. And his little brother Jackson just committed to Nebraska.
Yeah, I saw that. That's a good one. Yeah, no, Illinois, good football team. Bielema's
Yeah.
a really good head coach, and he's got that team rolling.
Yeah, for sure. Luke Longmire looks really good.
The tight end was wide open for Nebraska.
Yeah,
That's rough.
very.
And then the final sack of the game, the running back misses his blocking assignment. Oof, that's rough.
It was all bad.
That's one that Matt Rule wishes he could have back. I know.
Yeah. Got any other thoughts on college football?
I mean, no, not really. Marshall almost gave Ohio State a scare in the first quarter.
Yeah, they got up on him 7-0.
Drew Aller is just a completely different quarterback now that he has an offensive coordinator. Good for him.
He also played Kent State.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Kent State, but he's been looking pretty good all season.
He has. I'm excited.
Clemson absolutely destroyed NC State. It's not as close as the final score indicates.
No, neither is the James Madison UNC game.
Arch Manning got his first start. Looked okay. Looked like a true freshman, or looked like a freshman quarterback that's going out there.
Yeah, he made a couple mistakes that you're like, okay, yeah, he is 19 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, Quinn Ewers is the starting quarterback for that. You know who is like won the weekend for me?
Who's that?
BYU.
Yeah. You know who lost the weekend for me? A Kansas State fan. And Taco Bell. They're about to be up Schitt's Creek without a paddle.
I mean, man, it really sucks when like it's like maybe not the right decision, but it's the decision where it's like you got to take the bait with talent, right? Like it's like, hey, you have to bet on talent every time. And Oklahoma did that with Jackson Arnold, and Kansas State did that with Avery Johnson, and neither one of them looked very good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that offense didn't really look all that great. I mean, they were able to run the ball some, but what about Retzlaff, man?
Those damn Mormons, man, they'll get after you.
That punt return looked like Devin Hester.
Yeah.
Did it not?
It did.
That punt return was just like he covered the whole field. That was so sick. It looked like an absolute disaster. That final, like, what did they call it when it's like the end of like the second half, beginning of the second half, or the beginning or end of the first half, beginning? Yeah. Disaster after disaster. I mean, just for Kansas State, like everything that could possibly go wrong goes wrong. And BYU, I mean, like they got a team now, man. They're 4-0. We need to watch out for them. They should be ranked. You've got to be ranked after that. Kansas State's number 13.
Yeah.
They should be at least number 20 after that. I mean, they may not be the 20th best team, but God, they're 4-0, and they're.
Who do they play this week?
They play Baylor. There you go, another win. 5-0.
Yeah. The ending to Baylor,
Colorado
was wild.
Travis Hunter was the one that caused the fumble. That was sick, dude.
The OU spread against Auburn, by the way, has dropped from 4 to 2.5 already.
Well, Michael Hawkins is a true freshman.
Yeah.
Offensive
Penn State, Illinois this weekend. That'll be fun. Sorry, I'm looking at next week. I'm way ahead of where we should be. I'm sorry. I just pulled it up to check who they played, but you beat me to it.
Very good. Missouri's in trouble. I know they're 4-0, but I mean that. Like,
let's be honest. If we didn't play Tennessee this week, us and Missouri would be in the exact same spot, looking 4-0, but suspect as fuck.
But they got Luther Burden, dude, and he's a menace.
Yeah, we don't have anything like that on offense.
Yeah, I mean we do. It's just
we don't have any of that healthy on offense.
Yeah. That's about it for college football, man. Bad vibes if you're an Oklahoma fan. Like, if they would have been at least a little bit more competent, I think we come out of there with maybe a 3-point loss.
If they could have converted on one of the two turnovers, we might have won that game. That's how good the defense was.
Who knows? Honestly, who knows?
Sure.
Probably would have still lost just because Tennessee is that good. I just don't think they're national championship good after what I saw. No. I think Tennessee's a good team. I just think we're We're a joke on offense right now.
I think Tennessee's the fourth best team in the SEC. It's still Georgia, Texas, Alabama, maybe Ole Miss, but Ole Miss has a lot of questions defensively.
I think it's Texas. I hate to say it.
No, it's definitely 3 weeks from now.
You get the bye week, and it's a much needed bye week.
Can we just score?
And that defensive line isn't great. It's Alfred Collins, and the edge rusher is Ethan Burke.
Something like that.
Lole hasn't looked great. He wins sometimes, but I mean, most of the time it's just his experience that helps him, I guess.
Yeah, we won out in that one.
Yeah, Dominic Williams is fucking awesome, dude.
It's fantastic.
Too bad we didn't pay attention to the offense. Reminiscent of, it's just, we're cursed.
Can't play complimentary football. Okay, we got to move on to the NFL, though.
Yeah.
We do.
Right now, the Bills are absolutely smacking the Jags.
Shit pumping, is that what you like to call it?
It's bad. And
Commanders are beating the hell out of the Bengals, too. Maybe not the hell, but they might score here, actually.
The Bengals are must win next week.
Yeah. We'll get into it because it was, well, we can start there. Saturday was bad. It was a bad football weekend for you, bud. And I wholeheartedly apologize. It's not.
It's bad vibes. I didn't get any. God. I didn't get any sleep Saturday night. Like I pulled a 24. I was so sad about the way Oklahoma's offense played that like I just couldn't sleep. And I remember like I felt horrible. I got like maybe like an hour or two of sleep. So I'm having to watch NFL just like super hungover, like super tired, knowing that I was gonna feel like shit today going into work. I also had a good day at work today, like surprisingly, even though I felt like shit. But weirdly enough, sometimes that happens. Bears 16, Colts 21. Ugh. I mean, how bad does my coaching staff on both of my teams have to be? Like,
the speed option on 4th and goal was a bit aggressive.
And Matt Eberflus is done. After that just like him, Shane Waldron. I had my questions about Shane Waldron when he was hired because I know what his offense looks like when everybody's healthy. And then I saw his offense last year when 2 of his offensive linemen were hurt and they couldn't block anybody. And it looked just like complete dog shit. And they couldn't run the ball. It looks the exact same way. They can't run the ball, which is something we prided ourselves in last year. So that was one thing I liked about Luke Getsy. We knew how to run the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of the same thing. I'm done with DeAndre Swift. He needs a good offensive line in order to be productive. It was kind of the same way when he played for the Lions. When their offensive line was just kind of finally forming in. The year before he went to the Eagles, their offensive line was kind of forming in. He looked really good. It was like, so this is what DeAndre Swift can do when the offense is competent. And then you saw what he did for the Eagles, and it's like, this guy is really fucking good. And unfortunately, we failed him with a bad offensive line. And Roshan Johnson, I guess, is used to a bad offensive line. See, he was our best looking running back. Like, he made stuff out of nothing that was there. Why do both of my teams have to have the worst offensive lines? That's a very winnable game. We should have beaten the Colts. Anthony Richardson was horrible, except for the one deep pass. And that defense, that was the first time we had let up 21 points in like a while. Like, it had been a while since we've let up 21 points.
How much did the Packers score in the last game of the season last year?
17.
It was 17. Okay.
Yeah, it was 17. But like, they're tired. You can tell they were gassed.
Oh yeah, of course.
The game plan was terrible. The game plan was absolutely awful. And then like the go for it on 2. So like Caleb Williams' first touchdown, he's not the problem.
No, he's not.
You can call him a bust if you want. Like whatever, it's fair. The 2 interceptions he had, the one of them was terrible. It was like,
damn, that ref in the Cincinnati games got cake. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's got
not he, she.
Oh, I thought you said he. Oh, yeah, that's what I meant. No game.
I don't know, man. You and Caleb painting your fucking fingernails.
What'd you think of Caleb when nothing was there? Like
I thought he forced a couple things, but I thought he had to at least try. I was very inspired. You throw a rookie out there and let him throw it 52 times, and he only throws 2 picks and keeps you in that game.
64% completion percentage.
I think Caleb looked good. I think it was his best game. Obviously, I mean, he threw 2 touchdowns. I think he had 2 picks maybe, but he looked fantastic. I think he looked good.
Shane Steichen, good coach, great organization that knows how to make adjustments. They just know how to make adjustments. What was an emphasis that you think they were going over through the week? Hey, we're giving up the run a lot. Maybe we should like work on our defensive line is kind of bit to shit right now, but we need to kind of fix things on the interior and make sure we don't give up the run.
You thought they would have done that against Green Bay, but continue.
Green
Bay also has so much better line than Chicago.
They were getting absolutely whooped on out route to the Devontae Wicks, and then also CJ Stroud was dicing them up on out routes and screen passes. They were getting whipped on screen passes too. So what does Shane Waldron decide to call? That. And we can't execute it properly because our offensive line sucks and our DJ Moore just bad vibes.
A lot of bad looks. Yeah, DJ Moore, he looks pissed.
Get over it. We paid you a fuck ton of money. I'm sorry if we got rid of your buddy. This is the recipe. You get a rookie quarterback on a rookie contract. He's extremely talented. You can tell, when they started actually calling games where it's like, okay, we can't get this done, throwing screens, which wasn't even a strong suit for Caleb Williams in college. You start throwing towards the middle of the field, and it started working.
Yeah.
And then you throw it up to your big receiver on that corner route, and it got him a touchdown, which the celebration was kind of cool. I liked it. It
was clean.
Did you see the target? The go for it on 2.
Mm-hmm.
Why did everybody one coach is like, all right, we're going to go for it on 1. And Matt Eberflus is like, oh, 2. And
he's getting out
couldn't
there
even get the fucking call in.
Yeah.
And then you see Shane Waldron just shaking. He's shaking while calling the plays. Bro ain't built for this.
What was Garrett Gundy or whatever the fuck his name is?
It was horrible. And the entire time I'm watching it, I mean, it's just I had the Homeland. You seen The Boys? The Homelander, where he's just
he's
staring.
Watching the movie.
That's me. That was me watching that game because it was it's inevitable. My college football team's offense.
That was about 80. That was also about 81,000 Oklahoma fans in the stadium on Saturday. Every time the defense would do something, we'd cheer, and then as soon as Jackson ran out there, it was just.
Yeah. We'll try doing that 2 days in a row.
It was tough.
Which they got settled in. They adjusted a little bit, but the game was basically already over. The game was over.
Yeah.
Defense, they were gassed. They couldn't do anything. Shane Steichen, offensive coach, we need to make adjustments. We need to be able to run the ball, which Jonathan Taylor, fantastic player. Yeah. He made stuff out of nothing. You got to get DeAndre Swift in space. You got to get him the ball in space on the perimeter. Mm-hmm. Those wide receivers need to block better. Also, on the double out route, it's the corner and the out route.
Smash concept.
The first read is the out route.
Mm-hmm.
You throw it you have a tight end run that, the slowest player. Why isn't DeAndre Carter running that? Why do you have that's just a weird, it's a good concept, but it's a weird formation to have your tight end also running that when you're struggling, you need to get fucking yards.
If you're going to have a tight end out there, you don't run smash, you run spot, or you run flood. With the tight end in the flat, that's what you want.
Yes. That's how
or a little hitch.
That's how a boot. That's when a tight end should be involved as your first read.
Block
he threw it.
Pull out.
He threw it. It was the right read. You just have a slow tight end that can't fucking make guys miss. I like Cole Kmet. He's a good tight end. It's just that's his problem, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't get the ball to DJ Moore. They covered him well. Bad vibes. He needs to get over it, in my opinion. I know he's frustrated, but like you got the Rams coming up, and Sean McVay's throwing the kitchen sink.
Yeah, Sean McVay essentially has the same depth Oklahoma does on offense at this point, but he's making it work.
Yeah,
that's what great offensive minds do. But he also has Matt Stafford,
and I don't know. You were right. I got over my skis. I guess Caleb Williams wasn't going into the best situation. Defensively, yeah, they are. And, he has weapons. Keenan Allen, of course, and available. Yeah. Who would have thought? He'll be back. And I think it'll look better when he's back, because that's a guy you can get when you need the tough first down yards. He gets open. DeAndre Carter should be on the field a lot more and getting the ball a lot more.
I liked Rome Odunze in the game.
He looked awesome.
Yeah. Caleb has this weird tendency. I feel like he gets a little bit too antsy back there sometimes.
Happy feet.
The biggest knock on him is he does get happy feet. He tries to leave early, but he just tries to throw it as far as he possibly can and hope someone comes down with it. I've seen a lot of those overthrows from Caleb this year.
I'm not a big fan of the quarterback's coach.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really a big fan of their quarterback's coach, but Shane Waldron handpicked him. So
yeah. You know what it reminds me of when I see Caleb overthrow like that, and it's just 15, 20 yards over? Whenever
he has a bad quarterback's coach, that's why.
Well, yeah, but when I was in elementary school, I was playing soccer one year, and our coach had to he was sick or something like that, and we had this one dude's dad that came in and was trying to coach the team. And anytime someone would he clearly didn't understand soccer. Anytime someone would get the ball in the backfield or the back half in the defense, he didn't think to pass it, get up the field, or anything like that. His thought process was to immediately turn it over and just boot it as far up the field as he possibly could. That's what it feels like sometimes watching Caleb back there, and I don't know how it's being coached or whatever it could be, but it seems like sometimes when things just shut down and they have a go route in the pattern or a deep 9 or something, their thought is throw it as far as you can and see if someone can come up with it.
And accuracy was that was one of his strong suits.
Mm-hmm. Especially downfield accuracy.
Yeah, dude. He was doing it at USC with a worse offensive line than he has now. Yeah. So I don't
know, man. He had Michael Tarquin.
Yeah, I know. Maybe that guy was a stud all along.
Maybe he was, man.
No, he's really not. I mean, look, Michael Tarquin as a good offensive lineman isn't saying much.
No. Especially.
But when Braxton Jones got hurt, it just felt like it was over, because they put the guy that was starting over Nate Davis. Nate Davis is on IR, the right guard that they out there. I don't even know what his name is, but they put him at left tackle. They were like, this guy has tackle experience, so it's it's a good thing that you have him out there. Did he actually have tackle experience? Because if he did, he only played one game his entire life at tackle.
Did he have tackle football experience or experience playing tackle?
I don't know, dude. His first play, feet terrible.
Yeah,
lunging over. I mean, he was lunging it looked awful. It was horrible technique, horrible footwork. Oh my God. And Braxton Jones immediately went back out there and was like, okay, how can you not come up with a game plan to run the ball on this depleted Texans defense? And then also at the end of the game, 5 of the defensive players for the Colts got hurt. So they got trouble. I mean, they have issues.
They were already weak. They were already thin, and now they're even more thin.
Yeah. It's rough.
If they would have got hurt any earlier in the game, I think Chicago ekes that one out, but it was just too late.
I hope the Rams just lose out the rest of the season and we can hire Sean McVay.
No, dude, if it gets that bad,
I think the Eberflus experiment's over. I think the Eberflus experience is over. I think it's Chicago. You're always going to have a good defense. For some reason, that's the one thing that's great. He'll hire a good defensive coordinator. He'll find somebody.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Things have to shape up, or else for a long season, because the Vikings look fucking awesome.
The Vikings do. And you know who else looks awesome? Malik Willis. Man.
Yeah.
They credit to Matt LaFleur for taking in this guy after trading for him 3 weeks ago and going through the playbook and just being like, what do you feel comfortable doing? And they found it, and he's been incredibly efficient. Like, he hasn't thrown for a ton of yards, but I mean, he ran for 73 yards last week. He was 13 of 19. And at one point, he was 13 of 15 for 202 yards and a touchdown. And last week, he was 12 of 14 for, 112 and a touchdown. He's looked great. Emmanuel Wilson has looked very good as well. You see, on the first drive alone, they hit 2 shots for 30 yards. At the end of the first drive, he was 2 for 3 for 60 yards, and then he had a rushing touchdown. Malik Willis has looked great. Jaden Reed has continued to dominate. Christian Watson looked good yesterday when he was out there. Tucker Kraft, I would be perfectly fine if my team had 48 fucking Tucker Krafts on him. He blocks his ass off. He gets upfield. He's a workhorse. He can catch the ball well, and he runs through trash. He's a fucking great tight end. And it's kind of why they haven't had to go to Luke Musgrave as much, which I still feel like I wish we could get a little bit more out of him. If I had one complaint, I wish the running game could be a little bit more consistent. But again, Tennessee up front, especially on the interior, their defensive line, they're fantastic. On the outside, like I said last week, you doubted me. They're a little bit weaker against the run on the outside, but they're very strong on the inside. And Green Bay exposed it pretty well, and they did great. I mean, they ran it for, I say a little bit more consistent. Most of it was Malik Willis making plays happen. But, I mean, 37 carries, 188 yards, and 5 yards per carry. So I think it was a great game plan. The Jair pick 6 was lovely. Xavier McKinney, 3 games as a Packer, 3 interceptions, looks great. Quay Walker, honestly, I'm about done with him playing. He looks like shit. He's not reading things well. He's not reacting well. He's late on everything. He's a bit slow. Some of the better plays and the better throws Will Levis made were in spots where Quay was supposed to be.
You know what's crazy to me? A lot of those guys on that Georgia defense from that year didn't really end up turning out to be.
No, they're flaming out in the NFL. Devontae Wyatt's been fucking fantastic.
He's about the only one. Him and
Jalen Carter.
Yeah, and Jordan Davis.
Yeah.
I mean, that's about it. Like the defensive
their
line
backers, their backers have not been well. Their DBs have been okay, but
not as good.
Even better than linebackers.
I think Keely Ringo will get a lot better now that he has Vic Fangio.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think he probably needs to be playing more for the Eagles, which we'll get into that second. Yeah. If this week has taught you anything, coaching 100% matters. Having good coaching and good organizations. So, yeah, Matt LaFleur, masterclass job. Malik Willis looked really good. Yeah. Good win for you, buddy. You needed that.
Yeah, after Saturday, waking up hungover at 11 o'clock in the morning, Sunday morning, I needed that. And I even went and threw some McDonald's on top of it just to make it all better. So,
yeah, good organizations figure things out. So I'm hoping Oklahoma figures things out.
Yeah, they fucking better. Giants Browns, didn't see a whole lot of this. Malik Neighbors, awesome. I'm already ready to say who saved Malik Neighbors. Like, dude,
he's fantastic, dude.
He is so good at football.
It looked like, in my opinion, that, like, oh my God, like the Giants are cooked. Daniel Jones is cooked. This entire, like, just like you got a tank now at this point for a quarterback. And then they basically just had the fuck it mentality and just go out there and do this, you know?
Yeah. They couldn't do shit in the second half.
And Malik Neighbors basically said that in his post-game presser. He was like, we just had a fuck it mentality. Like, just go out there and do this. And they did. And it was a battle between the two shitbirds at quarterback, but Daniel Jones was the better shitbird. He looked pretty good in this game, dude.
Did you see the Shane Gillis meme for the Browns moved on from Baker? It's, oh, fuck. This is way worse.
The worst contract in football. in probably the history of contracts.
And they fucking deserve it too.
Yeah.
They fucking deserve it.
That offensive line looks terrible. And I know Brian Callahan is now the head coach of the Titans. He was the reason that offensive line worked. Coaching matters. Coaching matters because those are good players. Bill Bedenbaugh fixed the fucking offensive line. I'm happy for the Giants. They got that win. They needed it.
Yeah.
They got to win. And the Browns are in trouble. And they're probably going to go back to being a laughingstock because they can't get it right.
Good.
And Andrew Berry thought he was smart as a GM.
Was the reason he get fired. Same shit he's doing now. So, not a whole lot more on that game. I do want to get into this one because you mentioned it just a minute ago. If the Packers can't keep up what they're doing, and if the Lions stumble at all, and I say stumble just because I think at some point it has to fade, but I really don't know. The Vikings look like an absolute unit right now, dude.
It doesn't look fluky.
It doesn't. Sam Darnold's younger than Joe Burrow. Did you know that? Did you see that going around?
Yeah, he might be better than Joe Burrow this season.
Yeah.
He's looked good. I don't know, like, this could flame out. This could be one of the situations where it's like, yeah, like, you know, this team, like, they are who we thought they were at the end of it all. But right now, like, I wouldn't want to see him next week.
I don't want to see him this week.
You beat the 49ers, and I know they got injury problems. And then you beat the Texans, and you
were healthy?
Yeah, you made CJ Stroud look like complete ass. You made him look like Bryce Young that game. Which again, if they don't fumble, if the Texans don't fumble, that game could go completely different. But I felt like that was like that was the Vikings game after that fumble. But yeah, they completely whooped ass. They looked for real. Vikings fans tried to tell us.
Yeah, what? Say this thing isn't fluky, and say the Vikings win the North and make it to the NFC Championship game, right? Whether or not they win or whatever. Next year, when J.J. McCarthy's healthy, what do? You roll with what's hot and Sam Darnold, right?
Yeah. I think
is helpful.
It's a good opportunity it's a good opportunity for JJ.
Yeah. Oh man, this could be and Aaron Jones doesn't help me seeing him ball out, dude.
Kevin O'Connell. I mean, that guy's a fantastic coach, dude.
He's a hell of a coach. Him and LaFleur, and at this point, Mike Tomlin, the fact they're 3-0, I think are the three candidates for Coach of the Year.
What he's been able to do, I mean, I know, like, they've got studs everywhere. Like, they've got nothing but talent on the offense. But what he's been able to do you didn't really know what you were going to get out of that quarterback situation, and you're making the most of it. And Sam Darnold is playing really good right now. Let's hope it's not for their sake, let's hope it's not another Josh Dobbs situation where it just kind of fades out. But
I hope it fades out in 6 days.
Sorry. Yeah, I mean, I do too, since they're a division opponent. I agree with you. I hope it's a thing that fades out. I need it to be, but yeah. I mean, this is right now with the way they're playing. All things considered, this is an NFC Championship team.
Yeah, and I don't think it's at all crazy to say that. Like, if you said it after next week, maybe, but they've done this back to back weeks now, where they've looked like an absolute unit of a team.
Yeah, they've looked really good, and their defense is playing really good, and Brian Flores has done an incredible job.
How the fuck did the NFL let B-Flow and KOC on the same team as a coaching staff?
We didn't know Kevin O'Connell was going to do this well with the Vikings, though. I mean, let's be for real.
Yeah, but I think you saw sparks of it, though. I think he's been a fantastic play caller and play designer his whole career.
Yeah. But we didn't know, it was going to look like this. You know what I mean?
That's true.
You did with Brian Flores because he's always been a great defensive coordinator. I mean, he basically did to C.J. Stroud what he had been doing to to Tua. He's like, you ain't it, buddy.
Yeah, no, literally.
So, yeah, no, the Texans may not be as good as we thought they were because after you watch what Colts did to the Bears.
Yeah. That Packers-Vikings game is going to be, especially if Jordan's healthy and Jordan starts, that might be the game of the week next week.
The kitchen sink game.
Yeah.
All guys, I mean, that's an absolute war that's going to happen.
I can't wait. And
Yeah.
if OU loses to Auburn Saturday, I'm not even gonna think about it. Maybe the most surprising game to me. I don't have a whole lot more on Vikings Texans. I don't know if you do, but maybe the most surprising game to me all weekend was the Eagles and the Saints game. That was 3-0 going into the fourth quarter.
What a valiant effort by the Eagles.
And Saquon Barkley, especially.
And Dallas Goedert on
Goddard, yeah.
Yeah, Dallas. I mean, they had like pretty much nothing. A.J. Brown was out. Devontae Smith gets hurt. Your main wide receiver target is Johnny Wilson.
Devontae Smith died.
Yeah, that didn't look good. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a kind of back down to earth for the Saints. Did you see C.J. Gardner Johnson's like what he said in the locker room? They like showed his locker room speech where he was basically like we got this. We know who we are. We know who they are. Remember, they got Derek Carr out there. That was kind of mean, right?
Kind of mean, especially what he's done through the first couple games of the season.
Like that's kind of mean to say. Also,
yeah, that was wow.
Yeah, you just saw that, didn't you?
Burrow to Chase.
Yeah,
that was nasty. That'd be like Josh Heupel at halftime being like, "We got this. Come on. We know Jackson Arnold's on the other side. Like, cool it, okay? Fucking asshole. Like, don't say that." Anyways, sorry.
Yeah, don't talk about Jackson anymore, man. That's gonna make me sad.
Yeah, I shouldn't have said it. I'm a couple beers in now, and
I know you're just being realistic with it. Yeah, I know you're being realistic with it, but I like Jackson, and I hope he bounces back.
No, I fucking love Jackson Arnold. I think he's a fantastic kid.
Yeah, we're done. Yeah, no, you're right. The Saints, like they basically had to do whatever they could in that game. You can't go 1-2. Like you have to win that game because now your guys are hurt. You don't know when you're going to get them back. So yeah, good win for them. And then the Saints, we'll see how they bounce back.
Yeah.
That Big Fangio defense is kind of rounding into form though for the Eagles. It takes a little while. It kind of took a little while with the Bears too, but when in 2018 he was able to get it going, or at least in 2017 it took him a whole season to get it going. But it's kind of going in like quicker. Like it usually takes a while for a Big Fangio defense to kind of get things going. So good job.
I haven't seen much of them myself, but also outside of the week one, I haven't watched a whole lot of the Eagles. How's Cooper DeJean look? Has he played a lot?
I didn't really see him too much out there. It's usually I think like I don't remember. I think Darius Slay got hurt this game, if I'm not mistaken.
I want to say I remember him getting hurt. I believe I remember that.
Yeah, I don't necessarily remember, but.
Okay, but moving on. Next game we got.
Okay.
Sorry.
Anything else on this game?
I don't have a whole lot on this one now. Next game we got. This one went. Funny enough, I think exactly how everyone thought it was going to go. Except for I didn't think this team was going to win. Steelers 20, Chargers 10. Justin Fields didn't look half bad.
I think you're kind of undermining me a little bit. He looked really good.
He did. He did look good.
And Calvin Austin is awesome. And again, coaching matters. If this week hasn't taught you anything, coaching absolutely fucking matters.
Yep.
And he looked good. Calvin Austin looked good. The interception wasn't even really his fault. Got to catch it if you're the receiver.
Yeah.
That Steelers defense is insane.
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin. Whoa. What did you say when we started the podcast before it all happened? Yeah, the Steelers team's going to stink, and they're not going to win a lot of games. Well, if that defense stays healthy, they're going to win a ton of games.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man.
Mike Tomlin does not miss the playoffs, dude.
Yeah, he doesn't miss the playoffs, and they're going to be really good. I saw a stat, and I don't remember exactly what I read it, and I don't remember exactly what it said, but it was like the Steelers held the Chargers to -5 yards in the second half. That was the first time that had happened since like 2000. I think it was like the Steelers. It was like the first time the Steelers had done that since like the year 2000.
I don't know another team that had negative yardage over half the football.
Anyway, Joe Alt got hurt. Rashawn Slater got hurt.
Joe Alt played really well
against
CJ Watt when he was healthy.
Yes, and then he got hurt, and it's a sprained ankle. Justin Herbert got hurt. They shouldn't have let him play. Like, he should have stayed out. Like, he looked hurt. He got hurt. Yeah. Take him out of the game. He looked awful in the second half when he was trying to play. Put Taylor Heineke out there at least. Like, I know he's not Justin Herbert, but like, you got to put a guy in there that's healthy. And Rashawn Slater got hurt too, so like, that's rough for them. They got stuff they got to figure out. Good for Quentin Johnston. I knew he was going to progress. Didn't think he was going to progress as well as he did.
Yeah.
Two catches for 44 yards. I mean, he caught the ball.
That's the biggest jump he's made from year one, is he can catch it at this point.
Coaching matters.
What? What'd you say? Oh, we're kind of cutting out. What'd you say?
Coaching matters.
Yeah. I think that's going to be the title of this podcast.
It does.
Yeah. No, it truly does. It truly does.
Yeah.
I mean, you really saw that this weekend. The better coached teams, more often than not, won and dominated in these games.
And I'm not going to completely, because like, you know, we'll get into that game later, but let's just go ahead and move on. Broncos 26, Bucks 7. I knew it in the back of my head. I talked about it on the last episode. I had a feeling, like, I kept going back and forth, that I think the Broncos are either going to cover and win this game. And my gut feeling was right. I didn't realize this, and I guess maybe like just like my gut feeling knew that Sean Payton was 7-0 against Todd Bowles' defenses. I didn't know that, but in the back of my head, like, I felt like something was there. Yeah. So yeah, he owns Todd Bowles, like his offense does, and Bo Nix looked a lot better. And that defense, I feel bad for Baker in this offensive line.
Yeah,
that offensive line, like, can you not develop guys on the offensive line? Like, can you just not hire a coach that can do it? Because you had all offseason to figure it out. I know they're not completely injured, but that right tackle is not very good. Yeah. Christian Wirfs is your best offensive lineman, but he's been dealing with injuries all career, all his entire time in the NFL, even going back to Brady.
Yeah.
So that guy can't really stay healthy. I mean, he's battling, so good for him. Baker's just having to do it all on his own, and feel bad for him. Also, not covering Chris Godwin probably isn't going to work as a defense. So,
yeah, Bucky already looked good.
That run he had,
yeah,
that was nasty.
Yeah, that little inside give on the that was nasty.
That was fun to watch. But yeah, still there hasn't been a quarterback other than Caleb Williams until just tonight with Jaden Daniels to throw a touchdown pass.
Yeah, I think Jaden Daniels wins though, because his was a thick six.
Still got to throw a touchdown pass, Bo Nix.
Yeah. Moving on. I don't have a whole lot on this game. I think you hit everything on the head. Is Antonio Pierce in the hot seat already? He's just done some weird shit. That defense has been okay, but they got their ass kicked by the Red Rifle and Andy Dalton and the Panthers, dude. Also, please, just like Malik Neighbors, I'm in pure like save Devontae Adams mode at this point.
How about Deontay Johnson?
Yeah. Yeah.
He looked awesome. And Andy Dalton, I mean, he's experienced guy. I had a feeling going into this, like, this team is going to try to rally. Like, you make a quarterback change, you got an experienced guy. Like, let's see how this team responds. And they responded very well. And they played a really good game on both sides of the ball.
They did.
I thought they did. I think the score is closer than what the game actually was.
No,
I mean, it was 100%. Over. It was completely over. Their inability to run the ball, or the Raiders' inability to run the ball, like, it's kind of baffling because, like, you've got two good running backs. Like, you have to be able to figure it out. You got Zamir White. I don't think he's like, obviously James Cook was the better of those Georgia running backs, but I don't think Zamir White is just completely not good. You just need to have you have to give him a good offensive line. And Alexander Madison scoring touchdowns, but he can't run the ball for shit with his offensive line.
Yeah.
No, I don't think you put Antonio Pierce on the hot seat just yet.
I think Dave Canales is saving his job.
Yeah.
Do you think they hold on to Bryce Young and try to have him learn under Andy Dalton for a little bit? Or do you think Bryce Young thinks over? Do you think he's broken? I mean, there's no telling until he gets back out there, right? But
I don't know. I just don't know.
Yeah.
That's
fair.
I could have an opinion, but it's just not right. I just don't know the entire situation. I've been trying to follow the Panthers as closely as I can because of the trade that we made, which was awesome, but I don't know. He's either just not good or, like, he was put in a really, really bad spot. Now he's broken. I don't know.
And I do feel bad for Bryce Young too, because it's clearly weighing on him. Did you see the photos of, like, his, I guess, ex-girlfriend now going out with, like, a different, like, NFL player?
Oof.
It's tough.
It's a rough one.
It's a tough one, man. It's a tough one. No, but
that's a rough one. I feel bad for the guy. I'm sending him good vibes.
Isn't it fun to see Andy Dalton kind of ball out, though?
I'm a pro. Yeah, and he's going to. He's going to give you those games.
Yeah.
Like, Panthers they've upgraded in some spots when they needed to.
Wow.
What happened? I turned the games off.
No, the Commanders are on 4th and 4, up 5 from, like, the 40-ish yard line and went forward and got about 15 yards. And it was just a rocket from
Daniels
to Zach Ertz, dude, still playing. His wife retired before he did.
Daniel Jones, dude, good. Dude, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. If you have them in fantasy right now, good for you.
I don't.
I see B. Robinson, like, because I turned the games off. I'm just on ESPN, and I thought, when did Bijan Robinson come to the Commanders?
Yeah, I keep forgetting it's Brian Robinson. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, good for the Panthers. They needed that win. Like that's a save your fan base win.
100%.
So we'll see how it goes moving forward.
Yeah. Next game we got, man, Dolphins just can't get any luck at quarterback now. Tua's out. Skylar Thompson went out. But even before he went out, they weren't doing a whole lot. And the Seahawks do it. I mean, they went up 17-3 at the end of the first quarter, and they didn't even need 14 of those points.
Yeah. It was over when Geno Smith threw that long touchdown to DK Metcalf. After that, it was like there was nothing they could do. And he didn't even play all that great. He threw 2 picks. I mean, he did what he needed to do to get the win. But yeah, I know feel bad for Dolphins fans because the offensive line is, again, broken and your quarterback is hurt. Good decision to sit him out for 4 weeks, let that thing settle.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's rough. They're in full reboot mode. So what happens when
they haven't led for a single second this season? And this is the first time McDaniel's been under 500. Now they're only 1-2, but it doesn't look like it's going to get any better.
No. And I didn't think he was going to be a coach on the hot seat this season, but he gets a pass because of the injuries. He's a good offensive, his offensive mind is brilliant. It's just there's only so much what you can do when guys are hurt. So, I mean, you've seen what it looks like. Yeah, see, that's what's wrong with Oklahoma is guys are just hurt.
Yeah, that's the only problem.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't really I mean, there's not really much on this game other than like Dolphins fans are in hell. Sucks.
Ravens Cowboys. Ravens got up on them, obviously. And then Dak Prescott threw, I don't know if you call it a heroic effort, but with CD Lamb, I don't know if you watched the ending of this game. His body language, he looked like he just didn't want to be there.
It's what happens when you're up like 28-3. I mean, they weren't up that much. It was like 28 to like.
It was 28-6 at one point.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they tried. Cowboys, do they stink?
Yes.
Or is it just the defense is bad?
They can't stop the run. Now, part of it's Derrick Henry, but part of it's also they cannot tackle. I don't know what they did last 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks in practice, but it wasn't tackle. I can fucking tell you that.
I don't know, man. They do not look good, and like we declared it a must win for the Ravens, and I don't know how I feel about the Ravens. They're clearly missing Mike McDonald a lot. I mean, you see what the Seahawks look like. Which to go back on the Seahawks, I believe they're a good team.
Yeah,
I think they're a good team.
Oh, that's a touchdown? Oh my God!
Was it?
Scary Terry, bro. That was beautiful.
Now they're tied. Sorry. Now Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams are tied.
Oh shit! What are you gonna do?
Touchdown passes. Fuck.
Sorry, you love them both.
I do like them both. I can't let Commanders fans think they have a better quarterback, though. I mean, they do. But Caleb Williams was the right choice. I don't care what anybody says. It made the most sense.
He was certainly the right choice. Yeah, going back to the Seahawks, we kind of skipped over it real quick, but their defense has been phenomenal.
But they've also faced Bo Nix, Jacoby Brissett, and Skylar Thompson.
That is true. But they're shutting people down like they're supposed to. So.
Yeah, I mean, they are doing what they're supposed to, but they do have a real test with the Lions next week. So we'll see how that ends up going. That's going to be like the ultimate, like, all right, what is this team for both teams? But yeah, no, on the Ravens, Cowboys, the Ravens defense, they got issues. New defensive coordinator, yeah. So we'll see if he's actually good or not. Maybe it just takes a while for that scheme to be implemented for them. But yeah, they're just not a very good team. Maybe they get better, but with the way that they're looking now, if there's no progressions, they might make the wild card and lose in the wild card.
Yeah, no.
And then unfortunately after that, I don't think it's on Lamar Jackson. I think Lamar Jackson is absolutely an NFL quarterback. But how many more seasons do you have with him being as good as he is, you know? He's been hit a lot. He's been running a lot. His offensive line's played good this week, but you're going to have to go up against tougher defenses. The Cowboys are not good right now.
Yeah.
Could all change. I mean, the NFL's really fucking weird. And this week taught us that we know nothing about the NFL, apparently.
Yeah. Just wait until we reveal our picks.
Yeah. Well, we should just do that next week. I don't even want to think about my picks right now.
No, it was awful.
Actually, let's just go over them tonight when we're done. Let's just get
it. Yeah, we'll finish it. Moving on. Next game. Did you know Kyle Shanahan had a perfect record with 14-plus point leads in the second half, and the Rams were winless with 14-plus deficits in the second half, or the fourth quarter, I should say. Both of those records are no more. Hell of a comeback by the Rams.
That ended up being the best game of the week for me.
Yeah, no, 100%. It was fantastic. Matt Stafford looked so good. It was just a hell of a performance by the Rams. I didn't think they could do it without Drake Stoops playing. I really didn't.
Yeah. How could they obviously win without Drake Stoops? Just crazy, right?
I'm just gonna keep saying it every week until he starts playing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, you need to put Drake Stoops out there. Yeah, kitchen sink game. Sean McVay had to throw everything out there. The fake punt was awesome. You had to throw out everything, and that's what good coaches do. Like when your back's against the wall, it's a must-win game. Like you can't start the season 0-3. They rallied back and they beat the 49ers. And I said that the 49ers could tread water a little bit and lose this game. They just churn wide receivers all of a sudden. Because and I said it's funny because my former roommate, still my friend who I hung out with this weekend, Jared Brasher, wanted Brandon Ayuk on his DraftKings lineup, and I said you need Juwan Jennings out there. I was like, Juwan Jennings is playing better football right now, and he's like, nah, this is the week Brandon Ayuk is it's finally going to click, and they're going to be able to get things going. It turns out missing all of training camp is kind of a big deal.
Yeah,
and he hasn't been able to get going. The Brock Purdy is not a quarterback that should be paid a lot of money. Discourse is kind of looking like completely wrong because he's doing this without Debo and Brandon Ayuk not playing well and no Christian McCaffrey.
22 of 30, 292 and 3 touchdowns is wild.
He looks good.
Now, 90% of that was Juwan Jennings, but still, that's insane. In the fourth quarter, his ability to scramble and keep things alive and just make a play is just insane. He looks great.
Does he should he take a pay cut though? I mean, if he's gonna get paid a lot of money, should it just be like, hey, I want to keep these guys around so we can win a Super Bowl, do the Tom Brady effect?
How much are they gonna pay him though? I don't think they pay him north of 45. I think if he keeps it in the 30s, I think they can still be fairly competitive.
No, I think you got to pay him at least 38.
I think so.
38 to 40, yeah. Because
I think they will.
Gonna want money.
Yeah, no, of course.
So,
I just don't know that if Brock Purdy goes anywhere else, he succeeds like he is in San Francisco.
Yeah, that's true. Kyle Shanahan's still a fantastic coach.
Mm-hmm.
That's Sean McVay throwing out all the spots.
There's 2 places in the NFL, maybe 3 after what Malik Willis has done. But there's 2 places for sure in the NFL that if you take a struggling quarterback and you just implement them and just give them a season to just, even if they don't start, give them a season to fix it. It's Sean McVay and it's Kyle Shanahan. You can argue Andy Reid, but he could never really do anything with Alex Smith.
That's not true.
Well, I mean, they made the playoffs and stuff, but they weren't at this level.
Yeah.
They weren't performing
at this level. He did it with Donovan McNabb. He got to a Super Bowl.
That's true.
So I would put Andy Reid up there. I'd put if you're an offensive minded head coach and you're coaching for the Green Bay Packers, I'd put it up there.
Yeah.
Because Mike McCarthy could do it. And Matt LaFleur is incredible. Can we get a coach from the Shanahan tree? It'd be nice.
Shanahan tree is ridiculous, man. It's churning out some dudes.
Let's just get a coach from the Shanahan tree.
What's better, the Saban tree in college or the Shanahan tree in the NFL?
It's a tough one.
That's a tough one.
I can tell you this: the Bill Belichick tree hasn't looked great for
no, dude, it's been bad.
Except for Brian Daboll.
Yeah,
I know Brian Daboll. It hasn't been great with the Giants, but it's not his fault. They just decided to pay Daniel Jones
$164.
So
yeah, I love Daboll. He's a football guy, true football guy.
So I want.
But like we said though, Rams Niners just instant classic. It's an NFC West classic, man.
Yeah,
it is every year.
And it looked like it was completely lost for the Rams until the end. Like they started rallying for that comeback, and that it was like, oh man, like this is.
They were down 14 twice.
The kitchen sink in the lab cooking stuff up, man. And they both Shanahan and Sean McVay were in the bag, man. We called it though. We called it last episode.
Hell of a game to watch. Moving on, the last of the Afternoon games. Now, I thought this one
was going to be an absolute classic after the first quarter.
I thought this was going to be like Rams Chiefs, like what 2016,
2018,
2018,
yeah, 2017, 2018,
16 to 18, somewhere in there. But then it just like shut down in the second half. Lions 20, Cardinals 13. The hook and ladder gives me nightmares, but was sick. Every time I see someone run a hook and ladder, I just get a pit in my stomach from that fucking Fiesta Bowl. But it's such a sick play that it's so cool to see.
And I thought both quarterbacks played well, like for the first half. I mean, like it looked like it was going to be an instant classic. Like this is like let's figure out what this offense is and how capable it really is against two good defenses. But it turns out those defenses for both teams are just really fucking good. And so I guess that might be the new identity for the Lions. Like it doesn't look like they're going to score a lot of points this season. I think they'll round out into form later on. Like I think it's there. They're missing Josh Reynolds. I mean, that's obvious that they're missing Josh Reynolds. He's the guy that like when you need to pick up the tough yards to go and score. Jameson Williams is a really talented wide receiver. He's meant for something else, like in that offense, like into rounds, get him going deep. It also doesn't help when Sam Laporta gets hurt in the game too.
Yeah,
Sam Laporta gets banged up, and that's tough for them. But the David Montgomery, did you see the play where he's getting stopped and then his offensive line pick him up?
Yeah, did you hear him talking about it? He was like, I was laughing the whole time.
Yeah, that was awesome. I mean, like that was just like football moment. Like that's football.
It was great.
So yeah, but they've only been able to score so 26, and then they scored 16 last week, and then they scored 20 this week. So like it's good that they got that defense fixed because they're going to need that defense to be really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that they're not happy currently with how many points they're scoring on offense, but they are moving the ball. So
yeah, they're playing really well inside the 20. They are in between the 20s. They just can't finish drives off of the clip that I think they'd really like to. But they still, especially with that defense, that pass rush, they're still going to be a fairly dominant team come later in the season. Defense travels, man. But
yep.
Final game of the weekend.
Did any more Lions fans have they gotten Dan Campbell's new address?
I don't know, man.
We need to find something on that. We need to do some research.
We do. Okay. Final game of the weekend, or final game of Sunday. Chiefs beat the Falcons. Damn it, what was the final score? I'm getting pulled up here. It's kind of just felt like one that the Chiefs were just gonna run at the end. 22-17. Yeah. What's up?
I was so like hungover and tired, like I had to get some sleep. And the Falcons drove so easily and were up 7-0 like it was nothing. And I thought, yeah, I was right. Falcons are gonna expose the Chiefs for what they are until they finally round into form and later in the season. And then I woke up this morning and saw the final score. Was like, oh, I guess the Chiefs, it like went their way somehow. Like they found a way to win.
Of course it did. They get the PI at the end of the game that kind of goes their way. That not kind of goes their way. That one went their way. It didn't get called last week, or it got called last week. It was the right call last week, and then it doesn't get called last night, and it was the wrong call to not call it last night. So, just is what it is. I mean, you kind of feel like it's inevitable. The Chiefs are going to get that. I don't know how the season ends. I don't think they win the Super Bowl this year, but I've said that a couple times and been way wrong.
We need to just stop saying that.
You never fucking know. I know. If they do win it, though, Samaje Perine on the team. If anyone deserves a Super Bowl, it's him. So.
Yeah, Creed needs another ring. He only has 2. He needs like 4.
He needs 1 for every case of beer he has per day.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the Chiefs found a way to win, and I guess Travis Kelce was like pissed off. Like I just saw some stuff where like they weren't able to get him open, and Patrick Mahomes in his post-game press conference was like, "Yeah, he's getting triple teamed out there." I mean, so is Gronk with the Patriots. You've got to throw Kelsey the ball. Kelsey might be washed, dude.
He's just old, man.
Yeah, I mean, he looks old. I mean, it looked like when Gronk was getting old, and that's what happens. Like he's one of the best tight ends all time, 100%, one of the best tight ends all time.
Yeah, certainly.
And like he doesn't have anything else to prove. I don't think he does.
No.
He'd be on one of my
all-time. Right off into the sunset.
I'd put him on my all-time list, right?
Yeah.
Are Brittany Mahomes and Taylor Swift friends again? I thought I saw something that they're friends again.
They might be. I don't know. They might also be friends in the way that like your mom and.
Well, I thought I saw that like apparently like Donald Trump had said something about like Taylor Swift, and he was like, "I hate Taylor Swift very much," and Brittany Mahomes was like, "Well, Taylor Swift is my friend. Like I have to take her side." And that's Trump is playing a dangerous game by saying that.
You piss off the Swifties, bro. You're fucking in for it.
That is an army that you don't want to piss off.
You might get choked out by a pink hairdryer. Like,
yeah, like that's
they're
a
gonna
dangerous
come
game.
for your ass, dude. Can't be doing that.
But I don't think he said anything bad on his tweet. He was just like, I hate Taylor Swift so much.
Did you see the tweet where someone was like, after she like backed Kamala Harris, and they're like, Taylor Swift, the person notoriously known for choosing the right person. We're not going to get political on here. I just think that shit's funny. I don't know. The whole Chiefs thing.
That's just funny.
Just tired of them winning fucking football games. They're turning into the Patriots. Everyone fucking hated the Patriots. They wouldn't fucking stop losing, which I don't know that Tom Brady's been that good, by the way, in the booth. I don't know how you feel about it, but hadn't been that great.
No. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, I mean, like you even admitted you didn't watch this game really in full. I got bits and pieces of it. So
I just saw Drake London was wide open in the end zone for that touchdown and was like, I can confidently go to bed. I shouldn't have. I should have stayed for the game.
Yeah, it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it. I was doing my finance homework watching it like, God fucking damn.
The last two games that just happened, the Jaguars are absolutely dead, and it turns out the Bills are still a really good football team.
Yeah, if only there wasn't like a Josh Allen hater on this fucking podcast, I would admit the fact that they're very good. What a nerd that guy must be.
So Josh Allen goes up in a match against Josh Allen, and Josh Allen ends up winning.
Wasn't it Josh Allen Hill now or some shit?
Dude fucking knows. Trevor Lawrence didn't look great. I think we got to see Mac Jones a little bit.
Did we?
Did Mac Jones? Yeah, Mac Jones got.
Oh, we got some early Maction, dude.
Yeah.
We got Monday night Maction, not even Tuesday.
Did you see? Speaking of the last game, for the Chiefs game, did you see what Carson Seal said about Andy Reid like watching Maction?
Yes.
That's pretty sick, right?
That's awesome. That's awesome. To know that Andy Reid and I are the same person, just chowing down cheeseburgers, watching Maction on Tuesdays, dude. Yeah. Makes me feel better on the inside.
Yeah, I know. Like nothing gets better than Maction. Hey, what do you do on your days off for football? Watch Maction. Yeah,
exactly. Watch more football.
Yeah.
There's nothing else you can do.
Which we're getting very close to Maction.
We are, and I can't wait.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bills just absolutely obliterated the Jags, and then he's not gay, but the James Daniels coming out party was pretty impressive against the Bengals.
Did they even punt this game?
If they did, I didn't see it.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels he's spectacular, and he's got a good offensive-minded coach that's helping him get through this.
They didn't punt.
What's his name? The hot coach that they have at offensive coordinator, Kingsbury.
Oh yeah, Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah. It turns out good offensive coach that knows how to coach quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And he looks really good, so I'm happy for him. Commanders needed a win.
100%. Don't have a ton on this game. Jaden Daniels looked good though. He threw the ball.
Oh, Joe
really
Burrow
well.
looked really fucking good too.
He
So
did. He did.
I mean, he's not the problem.
He's not.
Bengals just have something that they need to figure out. If there's any team that can come back and salvage the season and make the Super Bowl, it'd be the Bengals, in my opinion, in the AFC.
I don't know that the Super Bowl level.
I'm saying if any team in the AFC could come back from 0-3, it's either the Bengals or the Chiefs. If the Chiefs are 0-3.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. It is wild to think that they're 0-3 though.
Yeah, bad vibes going on right now.
But
gotta figure it out.
Yeah, I would say overall was a fun football weekend, but it wasn't. Saturday sucked shit. I know your Sunday sucked shit for the most part. My Sunday wasn't too bad, but I was still getting the sour taste out of Saturday out of my mouth. So,
Yeah.
what we kept coming back to during the NFL talk? Coaching matters, man. It really does. And whether it's a coordinator position on offense or defense, whether it's your head coach, whether it's position guys, at the end of the day, in football more so than anywhere else, coaching truly matters. And if you don't have adequate coaching, you're gonna suck shit. So
before we get to our dick picks, one last thing. What do we think of Brent Venables?
I still think BV's the man, but I think he has some very important decisions to make.
Yeah. And the QB controversy is the last thing he probably wanted. That's one of the toughest things to do as a coach.
Yeah, no, 100%. But he's gonna prove himself. He's gonna prove us whether right or wrong this season. And we talked about it a lot. Looks like Mike's gonna be the guy. Feel awful for Jackson because I've been the biggest support. I love Jackson Arnold. I always have. I probably always will. If Spencer Rattler can have a soft spot in my heart, Jackson Arnold is gonna have an ever more soft spot in my heart. I don't know how the fuck to say it, but it just sucks, man. I feel so immensely bad for Jackson. And honestly, one of the worst fan bases to suck shit around because OU fans do not take lightly their quarterback's not playing well. Out of any other position, if you're a bad quarterback, OU fans will never live it down.
Yep.
But we'll see. We'll see. I don't know if benching Jackson's going to be the thing that sparks it, but we got Auburn on the dock. BV announced on his coach's show that Mike's starting. We're going to see. I'm going to be there every step of the way. I'm going to die hard no matter what.
I'm kind of hoping that it's more of it ends up becoming what Tua and Jalen were.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that's what ends up happening.
And honestly, you'd mentioned Ohio State. I don't know, just off the top of your head, just fucking around. But if Jackson goes somewhere else and succeeds, all power to him. If that's ends up what happening, or if the inverse happens, if Jackson comes back and wins the starting job back and balls out, and Mike goes somewhere else and succeeds, all power to him. I think both guys are going to be great. Yeah, the potential to be great. So
I'm not going to say anything because anytime I say something positive, it's cursed. So we'll see.
I feel that. I should probably shut the fuck up while I'm ahead, but gonna go ahead and get into it. The last thing we want to get into on the weekend or on our weekend recap, our dick picks. Now, we thought the weekend couldn't get worse. It could. Just to wrap up mine, I got 2 games correct. It was the under and the Chargers Pitt game, which seemed obvious. Under was 34.5. Game total came out to 30. And then I picked Packers money line versus Tennessee. Malik Willis revenge game. Malik Willis, by the way, has been a pro's pro. He's been a dude, man. He says all the right things in front of the camera. He seems like a good, genuine dude. Coincidentally enough, you actually picked Tennessee to cover, so good job, man. But anyways,
Tennessee.
You did, yeah. You had Tennessee covering versus Green Bay.
No, I didn't.
I swear you did.
They were -3, right? They were favored?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant I got that right. Okay, I'm
No,
sorry.
no,
My
no.
brain
Like
isn't
that was
absorbing.
one of your picks. That was one of your picks.
Yeah.
We were very tired.
Yeah. This is a very loopy episode for me. I'm extremely tired. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Shows you how much I know about football, I guess. I know football and I don't at the same time.
Yeah, you swing and miss every now and then. I didn't know football at all. I picked Dallas money line versus Baltimore. Didn't think at all Dallas was just not going to be able to stop the run. I also took the over in Philadelphia and New Orleans because who would have thought two of the most high-powered, high-scoring offenses in the country come together to score how many points was it? Fucking 22? 37. 27. Jesus fucking Christ. And then I
We're
also
stats
took
guys,
Tampa.
not math guys.
Exactly. I took no, I'm taking finances. I took Tampa to cover -6 versus Denver. Just not a good look. You should have you were right. Sean Payton was just not going to let that happen.
So you had the Panthers winning out, or no? I had the Panther. Okay, hold on, wait. So you had the Packers winning.
Yes.
And then who was the other one that you won?
L.A.
Under.
Yeah, the under in the L.A. pick game. And then the two that you got right, you correctly took the under in Seattle, Miami. Very smart man. And then you took Carolina to cover versus Vegas, and you should have just took the money line.
How insane of a pick was that? That was stinky.
I know, dude.
Oh, you know what other stinky pick that I got right?
What's that?
Florida State.
Yeah, you motherfucker. I hate that.
I mean, it looked terrible, but if you can get a win, hey, you got to get a win any way you can if you're Florida State, right?
Yeah, no, exactly.
If you're a Florida State fan, how do you feel after that?
I think you're still cutting toes off, dude. You feel better than the Kansas State fan with the Taco Bell with the beefy 5-layer. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah,
it's in the freezer right now.
I feel like we were robbed of like a Florida State like 0-win season because that guy should have eaten dog shit. Like they should have.
Yes,
that guy ate dog shit, and now like
exactly.
Like we were robbed of that. Now that guy.
What if this guy shoves that beefy 5-layer up his ass and then K-State wins the national title, bro? How bad would that Florida State fan feel?
Terrible.
Dude,
do we need video proof? Do we need video proof?
Have you seen him on Twitter? Because I think we're gonna fucking get it, dude.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna get it. The three that you missed on though, you took the over in Detroit, Arizona, which you even felt bad about it at the time, and it looked like it was gonna hit. Like the first half through the halfway through the second quarter, it was like, okay, yeah, this is gonna be just a high flying, high scoring game, and then both defenses just shut the other offense down. Obviously, we talked about it. You took Tennessee to cover -3 against Green Bay, and Chicago money line versus Indy, which for the majority of the game looked like it could have been there. It just couldn't get going for Chicago, and it sucks, man. But that keeps us tied. We were tied going into the week. We both went 2-3 on our picks. So far we're tied at 7. Man, it's been tight, dude. It's been tight. I don't know what we're gonna do this weekend, but I have to see. Does loser eat dog shit or shove a beefy 5-layer up his ass? What are we doing, man?
Loser has to watch Oklahoma's offense versus Tennessee like every Saturday.
Fuck that, dude. I've watched it 3 times and I was there for one of them. Fuck that. I'd rather sit on a beefy 5-layer burrito.
If Oklahoma doesn't get this offense right, I'm gonna shove a gun in my mouth.
Yeah.
Wait, just kidding.
I'm not.
Yeah.
But
anyway.
It for you it probably couldn't got worse. It could have got worse for me, but you know what? That's what being a football fan is. We're both true to our teams, so we ain't going anywhere. We ain't going anywhere. It was a bad weekend, but things can only go up from here. I hope. OU's offense can't get worse. I mean, they're already ranked towards the bottom in just about every statistical category.
Worst performance I've ever seen from an offense, and I've watched Iowa play football.
Yeah. SEC ready defense, Big Ten West ready offense. It's lovely. But I don't know if you have anything else. I think that's going to do it for this episode.
No, I don't really have anything else.
All right, man.
Bad vibes, man.
Bad vibes, but we got a recap, or we got a preview video coming in a couple days. So be sure, obviously, like, comment, subscribe for future videos, and hopefully we get a little bit more joy out of this season coming up, because things can turn south really quickly. So that has been the Pigskin Podcast, Season 2, Episode 9. Stay tuned. Again, like I said, Episode 10 will be coming out here in a couple days. We'll have our weekend preview with all the fun stuff to come up in College Football Week 5, NFL Week 4. But again, that's going to do it. So see ya.